Tonight, the Dub Talk podcast proudly presents the main event of the evening. 2.5 hours of coverage for another anniversary episode of 2020. A friendly reminder before we begin that there may be strong language and content not suitable for younger audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. There will be spoilers for the anime we're discussing tonight, as well as any other anime that may occur, so be very wary if there's something you haven't listened to yet. Most importantly, the views and opinions expressed are those of the participants in tonight's episode and do not reflect the podcast as a whole. Tonight, we are going to witness the weirdest anticipated review in the history of Dub Talk for the month of September 2020. Podcast fans, are you ready? For the hundreds in attendance and the thousands of subscribers on our YouTube, from the Dub Talk studios in Hollywood, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for a game battle! Hello and welcome to the Dub Talk podcast, where tonight a group of high rollers get together to cover their favorite anime. I'm your dealer Jamal, and we have a good one for you tonight. As part of Dub Talk's 5-year anniversary, each host has covered a different episode for each month, and this month is my turn, because tonight we will be covering the anime Real Rainbow Gate, licensed by Media Blasters and dubbed through a joint effort between Sound Cadence Studios and Culture Sound. Now, for those of you that are wondering what the show is about, it's basically Vegas the anime.
For lack of better description, that's the TLDR version, yes.
Yeah, what I mean by that? Well, the story is as goes. The Howard Sword is a... I already messed that up. The Howard was... God damn it.
You can do it, I believe in you.
The Howard Sword Hotel is a mega entertainment destination where high rollers gather from around the world to play big and win big. Meet dealer Rio Rollins. That's a mouthful. Meet dealer Rio Rollins. She's the beautiful goddess of victory who tries to live up to the legendary reputation of her dealer mother. To be declared the MVCD, most valuable casino dealer, Rio must earn and collect 13 gate cards and compete in a series of wild, sexy, breathtaking athletic competitions against other cutthroat rival dealers. Set in a lavish, futuristic gambling resort, the exciting gate battles are about to begin. May Lady Luck be with you.
Can I say one thing?
Yes?
Wild, sexy, cutthroat battles? Oh, God.
You knew what you were getting into, and if you didn't, you poor sucker, why did you agree to this?
Why? I mean, here's the problem. This is my first time watching the show. I can't help it. I'm like, okay, long story short. So my involvement real quick with this is a few years ago, kind of when we were still just starting out as a thing, we all went to each other for recommendations for shows, and everybody had to pick a show for a person to watch. Jamal told me I should watch Real Rainbow Gate. I never got around to it. So when we were planning the episodes for this year and he picked Real Rainbow Gate, I'm just like, you know what? This is my excuse now. I'm going to do it. So here I am, and I have no freaking clue. I still don't know what happened in this show. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I think to help break this down, I've assembled my finest players yet. We have Amon.
Pick a card, any card. Doesn't really matter. The house is going to win anyway. Sorry.
And we have Steph.
I'm good at blackjack. I'm not good at this. Like, where am I? Why am I here? What is life right now?
We were supposed to be joined by Spaceman Hardy tonight, however, he had to cash out due to unforeseen circumstances, but we wish him the very best. So. And it's kind of interesting because for the longest while, when I first came across this show, it was very unique in that it was kind of an acid trip for me because like I've never seen a show like this before. I mean, to give you context, this kind of predated stuff like Pop Team Epic, Anime Gatteries and the like. So,
what year was I know the dub was actually within the last 5 years, but what year was the show coming out in general?
The show itself came out in 2011. It was animated by a studio called Sebek, which is no longer.
May they rest in peace. Sebek.
Yeah. Yes, good old Sebek. It's kind of interesting because, like I said, the show is kind of wild, and it turns out it's also based on a series of Pacheco games, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's called...
What the actual hell?
Yeah, I think it's called Super Blackjack. It was also another game that the main character Rio was in. But that was also for a game on the PS2 in Japan. But she did make a cameo in I think it was Dead or Alive Paradise.
Is this why you guys are making so many stinking references in the chat while watching this show that I had no fucking clue what you were talking about?
No, that's because Tecmo, who own those video games, have inserted references to other properties of theirs into the anime.
Oh, Christ.
Speaking of companies that God, this anime came out after Tecmo folded.
Yep.
Really?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was meant to be, but this ended up being a little bit of a last hurrah for Tecmo, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so if it feels kind of unfinished, maybe it is. Who knows? Still want to know what the hell is up with those two characters at the end, though. But that's another discussion.
Yeah, there's no season 2, so it just leaves off from there, and that's it.
But as
and
kind
then
of
you have the OVA episode, and then that's the fun one.
Mm-hmm. That is true, and it's kind of a shame he's not here tonight because this also had the distinction of being the only show I've been trying to get Hardy to watch for the last couple of years. Because for context, every year some of us at Dub Talk get together for A-Fest.
Oh, yep.
Where we try to show each other some unusual anime. I remember somebody tried to show me Garci's Wing at one point. I fell asleep.
An appropriate reaction to Garci's Wing.
Yes, you lucked out on that one, honestly.
I
see Garci's Wing too. It is awful.
I also lucked out on not see the Ico dub, the first one, the one that doesn't exist, you know.
And then, what was it last year? Hardy was trying to get us to watch fucking Mad Bull 34. Was that last year? It was Mad Bull 34.
No, the year before,
yeah. Because what was it? I remember the big point of contention about it was trying to get Andrew's reaction, because of course he's the babby of the group, and he gives the best reactions to shit sometimes. So Hardy's like, we need to watch Mad Bull 34.
I remember you said you were trying to get us all. I have not seen Mad Bull 34.
You might have been, like, you were either probably in the other room or asleep at the time, because it was pretty late when we did.
Yeah, I think it was both. Also, on top of that, I think he tried to show me Bastard one time, but he never did, or he just forgot about it.
And then there's Chargeman Ken.
We all talk about Chargeman Ken.
Speak for yourself. I will constantly talk about Chargeman Ken.
Well, that's because it's your brand of bullshit, so...
Also, we watched my copy that I bought in the dealer's room, so...
Oh, yeah, because we recorded, what was it? We were in the midst of recording the Guess the Anime Challenge. Megan and I were in the other room, and meanwhile, everybody else is in one of the other hotel rooms being subjected to Chargeman Ken. And then Megan and I come in, and we're like, what the fuck is happening here? And we watched an episode, and we're like, what is this?
Extremely low-quality animation from the 60s. I thought that was clear.
Accurate description right there.
Yeah, boy. But anyway, enough with the chit chat about our show and our antics. Why don't we get the ball rolling on this stuff?
Okay,
alright,
let's do it. It's time.
Yes.
It's time to deal those cards. Let's go.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
We gotta deal those cards. Let's go. I don't know. I'm terrible at this game. I'm drinking coffee. It's either gonna be again a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know yet.
I thought I heard you say something else, but that was just probably me. Yeah. Let's start by talking about ADR directors and scriptwriters. Now, just keep in mind, the thing about this is like I said, it's a joint effort between Sound Cadence and Culture Sound. Culture Sound Cadence, huh? I like them. Anyway, it's a small handful of staff, some of them pulling double duty. Starting with our directors, we have Emily Connors and Brittany Lauder. And they're also assisted by Howard Wang, Justin Briner, and Matt Shipman. And for our scriptwriters, Justin Briner is one of them. He's actually the head writer, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I saw that in your notes, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's very rare to see Justin as a writer instead of just acting.
Yes, he's also assisted by Emily Connors and Howard Wang. So, for other works these people have done, Emily Connors has also directed Sea Hunter Shinjuku Private Eyes, Beat X and Beat X Neo, Hells, Galaxy Express 999 and Eternal Fantasy, and Actors, Song's Connection. As scriptwriter, she's mainly done script supervision for the City Hunter movie, the Galaxy Express movie, and Kimono Friends. Brittany Lauder, she's also directed other stuff such as I No Kusabi, World War Blue, the Morose Mononokean franchise, Legend of the Galactic Heroes Die Neue Tesse, or The New Thesis if you don't speak German, and She and Her Cat Everything Flows. Howard Wang has also directed other stuff such as Kimono Friends and Thermite Romai, but he's also written for shows such as Hells, Most a Million Author, Nichijou, and Thermite Romai. For the love of God, please watch Thermite Romai. It's fucking funny as hell.
I know nothing about it.
That's the Roman Baths one, right?
Yes, I know nothing about it.
Right. Okay, I was like, what the fuck is... I didn't recognize it by name, sorry.
I need to watch that one.
That is a devious laugh, and I'm terrified by you now, Jamal.
Trust me, it is a lot of funny. Anyway, well, speaking of funny, Justin Briner's only credit here is he wrote for Taboo Tattoo.
Oh, man. Can I share a story about Justin? It's Andrew's story, but he told me about it. So, Justin Briner was a guest at Anime NYC last year, and when Andrew went to get autographs from him, he had mentioned to Justin that he had a lot of fun watching Taboo Tattoo, and it just kind of came up in general. And Justin was just, from what he told me, was just like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy you watched it. I don't get to hear that often." I'm like, oh my god, Justin's precious. Justin Briner is a precious human being.
Yes, he is. I wish he'd done more ADR stuff too. But
I kind of want to hear that too. Like, yes. I really would like that.
Speaking of ADR, Matt Shipman has also directed other stuff such as I No Kusabi, How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift, and She and Her Cat Everything Flows. So, that having been said, Steph, why don't you go first on this?
Sure. A quick clarification. I have a question real quick for you. Because, you said the show itself is 2011, and I think the dub was 2017, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Quick clarification for me, because one, I forget things, and two, ANN is a weirdly reliable, unreliable source. I'm assuming that both studios were still fairly new at the time. Was Kocha Sound actually legitimized, or was it just not even a studio yet? Because here's the weird thing. ANN lists Brittany Lauder's director credit with New Jersey in parentheses, and I'm like, wait. Hold on. Like, I feel like Kocha would have been established, but then again, I don't remember Kocha being a fully functional thing until maybe like 2018 at the earliest.
Okay, well, to give you context for that, because the earliest thing I remember, I had to look this up myself too. The earliest thing Brittany Lauder directed was Ladies vs. Butlers, and
right.
I went to see the dub announcement to see when the studio was established. It was 2015.
Okay, so the studio was established at the time. It's just Anna is very weird and labeling it very weirdly. Cool. Just making sure. Oh boy. So directing and writing wise. Oh god. So I'm gonna admit that the show made my brain hurt a lot. It really did. And it's gonna be a double-edged sword for me because this show clearly is supposed to be fun popcorn material. As someone this is their first time watching it, and they have to watch it from a critical standpoint, I was so confused by a lot of the logic of this damn show, and I was just put off by it a lot, that every time, because I realized it's popcorn material, but every time I kept trying to be critical of it, I'm like, my brain was focused elsewhere on the show, not the dub, and I'm just like, no, Steph, stop, don't do this. So my thoughts throughout the whole episode might be a bit weird, because double-edged sword of trying to have critical brain on a show that is clearly popcorn material. But that being said, the directing and Rio Rainbow Gate is a thing that exists. To put it lightly. Honestly, this show, considering this is one of the earlier works for both Sound Cadence and Coach's Sound, you can tell that it is a fairly early work by these two studios. A lot of technical pieces were kind of jarring at points. I remember there being times when lip flaps don't match. I remember there was an episode where freaking Tom Howard's mouth moved, but no sound came out for a sentence. So it's not a technical marvel. So it does lend to some possible issues that were had throughout production. Who knows? I do want to give credit to the writing of the show, because god damn it, some of these lines like I wrote a few of them very early on because this is my brain picking up on the weirdest of shit. Like we have the wonderful moments such as "you do you, girl," "I want to throw up from all of the awesome." What else? There was a surprise bitch moment later on in the show, and a character referred to Rio as baby girl, which was extremely fucking cringy. Holy crap. Oh, and I have to give credit to whoever wrote the one line in episode 8 that's a Gurren Lagann callback. Just who the hell do you think I am? For probably the most stupidest character in the goddamn show. And we'll get to that in a bit. But, like, normally, in normal cases like this, I would, like, be very, very annoyed and put off by writing such as this. However, these actually work in fun little moments, and a good chunk of them being comedic moments, that I actually didn't care all that much. Because, again, this is, again, a popcorn anime. Popcorn material anime. Like, it's not gonna be mind-blowing. It's just so much fun, and the writing reflects that, so I have to give credit to the writers on this one for going that route, and giving, because I have not watched the Japanese, so I don't know what the original sounds like, but giving it a lot more fun banter and material, giving it more life, essentially. Directing-wise, aside from technical issues, probably on the mixing front, and some missing lines here and there. Directing-wise, I think it's pretty good. Casting was pretty solid and a lot of fun, because in 2017, some of the names that we're going to be talking about, you don't hear about too much. But at the same time, having it split between the Texas area and the New York area is actually very, very interesting, especially for one very hammy performance later on that we're going to discuss. But TLDR on my thoughts here. It's not a great dub. It's pretty good. You can tell it's a very early on one for these two studios, but it's still a lot of fun once I finally get past the brain hurting moment and the logic of the fucking show. I'm gonna shut up now.
Okay, Amon.
Steph, you mentioned the logic of the show confused you, or you didn't think there was any logic?
Again, I think it's my critical brain trying to be critical of a show that I really shouldn't be critical of, and it's just being fun.
I mean, therein lies your mistake, because there is logic in this show, but unfortunately it is Yu-Gi-Oh! Logic. As anyone who has watched enough Yu-Gi-Oh! Can tell you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Logic is no kind of logic at all.
Oh my god, you're right. And Andrew watched most of the show with me, and he made so many stupid cracks at, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Commentary moments. I'm just like, oh my god. It's great.
It's kind of funny because I do get kind of a Millennium Puzzle vibe from all these games.
Definitely.
Not only that, I kind of realized before recording that I think one of the characters looks like Maximilian Pegasus. And we'll get to him in the next section.
Andrew made one comment, I think, when we were watching some of the latter episodes. He's like, oh, Seto Kaiba would not be chill with this. I can't remember what moment it was, but he said that. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Anyway.
Yeah, if you're listening at home, do you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh? Do you like the card games on motorcycles, weird bullshit aspect? Do you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged? You might want to actually check this show out. I think you'll enjoy that. If you like riding that vibe, you'll enjoy that here too. But onto the actual dub. I enjoyed this dub a lot. This show has no business being any good at all. It is based on a pachinko game. It shouldn't even be bad. It should just be so boring, it's tedious.
Which is odd, because isn't it usually the inverse when it comes to anime pachinko?
I don't know. I mean, usually anime properties just kind of get slapped on pachinko machines, so pachinko parlors and their companies can make money off of. Are there other anime based on pachinko machines?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know there's other anime is based around gambling, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's true. But I think this is the first. I mean, this is the first one I know of that's specifically based on like a pachinko machine mascot, which is interesting. But I'll get into this much later in final thoughts. But like, I think this is a really like fun show that's a lot better than something based on a pachinko machine has any business being. And I think the dub's very reflective of that. Like, I had a real hoot watching this. I think it's really lively. I think you can tell that everyone working on this had a lot of fun working on this. It is. I didn't watch it in Japanese, and I don't speak/read Japanese, so I can't say this for certain. But it seems like it is not. It doesn't go too far away. It does punch up the dialogue a little bit. You have more sort of references and slang than you would get in like something Funimation is putting out right now, or maybe even I don't know around the time this was being dubbed, but I enjoyed that. There is a bit in I think episode 3 or 4 where somebody makes one of the characters compliment somebody on a good job they did, and I see what you did. I watched Homestar Runner. I know what that means.
Good job.
Is that you, Justin? I don't know whichever one of you did that. Kudos, you made me a fan. Good for you.
You won over Amon with a single sentence.
Amon it's very easy to get Amon in your corner. You just need to speak his language. That's all you really need to do. This was just a lot of fun. Like, this is a very goofy, melodramatic, sort of quasi sports show, and I think the dub just did a really, really good job of feeling very appropriate for it. It knew how this is very much a dub that feels like it knows how silly and frivolous the show is, and it's not ashamed of that, and neither is the show ashamed of how silly and frivolous it is, and I think it worked very well. This is the kind of show that does not exist in contempt of its own material, which I think is important, because you could easily get a dub by this that is either really lazy or made by people who think this is clearly beneath them, and it would not be any fun to listen to at all. I think the direction by and large I think is pretty solid. Everyone sounds nice. I think the writing is very funny and very entertaining and meshes well with what the show is. Like, I had a blast with this, which I was expecting to be interested in this show just because of how weird it sounds. I didn't necessarily know if I was going to like it, and I give the dub a lot of credit to the fact that I did like it as much as I did.
It's one of those moments. It's like just steal a line from the show. Surprise, bitch.
I know what shows are Amon shows, but they're usually pretentious bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta have the fun ones once in a while, right?
You can't just watch Boogie Pop Phantom all the time. You'll get weird in the head, and I'm already weird in the head. I don't need that anymore.
What, Boogie Pop Phantom, and what the fuck else is weird psychological shit that we all love?
I mean, it doesn't have to be psychological. I think Tatami Galaxy is great, and that's just kind of
fair.
Aggressively Tatami Galaxy.
I need to go back to watch that. Dang.
Anyways, but yeah, this is a fun dub. I really enjoyed this. Just a real blast to listen to.
Yeah. So, fun fact, because for those of us that don't realize, I kind of picked this because during our heyday when we started this podcast, we used to cover a lot of Funimation stuff, mostly Double Talk where it existed. So, because it was
the most readily accessible.
It was the most readily accessible, but then after a while, it's like, you kind of want to branch out a bit. So, I heard about a dub coming up for a show called Ladies vs. Butlers. I'm like, I see the cast listing it. I'm like, this is interesting. I never seen this diverse of a casting before. Yeah, I know one's gonna argue Attack on Titan, but one can argue with the casting. You kind of seen a lot of those major players before. I wanted to see something different, and I kind of did, and I saw it a different way. To which I watched part of it on YouTube when it came out, which was not the smartest idea. But then after a while, I owned up to it and decided to purchase the Blu-ray. And needless to say, I was very impressed by that dub. I was very impressed by that director because she was so new I'd never heard of her. That director in question was Brittany Lauder, and I decided from then on, I wanted to see what more she could bring to the table. So when this show came up, I was interested because not only was it a hell of an ensemble cast, which got a W for me, by the way.
Oh yeah, I forgot you gave it the W for ensemble.
Yeah, because like I said, I've never seen this much unique casting before. And not only that, they were partnered with another studio I had never heard of called Sound Cadence. Well, at the time, I never heard them. Now they're starting to become one of the major players in anime. So I decided to check them out. It's also kind of funny because I realized, because I did a lot of live tweeting for the show back in the day. And it turns out I unintentionally kept a promise to Brittany Law that I'd review one of her shows. Just not the show she was thinking of. Anyway, my thoughts on the dub is that casting is great. It's very unique. Scripting is, I agree, it's a little odd, but it works because, as Marissa Saletti said, when you're writing a script, you have to write for that time period that's given. Because 2011, this show is playing fast and loose with a lot of its elements, so script had to match that. What it comes down to is the mixing is a slight problem, but only if you really notice it. Because I noticed a couple of times there'd be half seconds where the character on screen would still be speaking, but the lip flaps would done. That was a big problem I had in the early Lauder days. But luckily, she's got a lot better, sister. A lot better.
Did you guys notice the missing line for Tom Howard too?
I don't think so.
I don't even remember, to be honest, because because a lot of I've watched the show enough that it's imprinted in my head that I can kind of recall it, but I don't remember him missing as many flaps. But that's because he's got those big old gums,
Well, it for me it was blatantly obvious when it popped up. He was having a conversation with Cartia. It was freaking hell. I think I wrote it down. Episode 7. I wrote it as a question mark because I think it was a missing line when he was talking to Cartia.
Okay, then. I got
Maybe.
you.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I might be going crazy.
But yeah, there's also that, and then I think there's also the filter on Joker, which it didn't bother me the first time out, but a couple of times where I was actually paying close attention to it, it's I could barely make out some of the words she was saying, but I don't know, maybe that's just me getting older, I don't know, but
Getting older? What? What is wrong with you? You're not supposed to get older. What is this getting older you speak of?
If I could turn back time.
Steph says she's gonna be turning 30 in a couple months.
Oh, you sweet naive babe.
Oh, I'm also the sweet naive babe who's dating a babby. All right.
Well, I'm here to tell you, from the ripe old age of 31, it just gets worse.
Hooray! I'm not that far behind you then.
Savor your 2 years younger youth while you can.
I mean, given how this year has been, it's hard to really savor it. It's hard to savor it when this year has been shit.
Oh.
Anyway, but I think everything else pretty much worked. Like I said, this is not something you should really kind of take seriously. You know, it's meant for fun enjoyment, and you say it's a popcorn show, but I see maybe popcorn and cheesecake. You know, maybe have some cheesecake.
That
with
is
your
an
cheesecake.
interesting movie night you have going on there, Jamal. Popcorn and cheesecake. What else? What else are we gonna add in there? Ice cream? You're not saying no.
I'm sorry.
You're not saying no, so that's a yes.
I started smiling a little bit, so I mean, hey, have some cheesecake with your cheesecake. Who knows?
Why not, right? Maybe some ham to go with it. I don't fucking know. I don't know your preferences.
Having cheesecake sounds like a bridge too far.
It does.
That's weird.
That is very weird.
I like the fact you said have some ham, and we're not even to Tom yet.
I know. Objectively or subjectively, I can't do words yet. The best fucking character in the show, Tom Howard, because he's the fucking asshole. It's great.
Oh, that would be funny for when we get into him. So.
Oh Lord, yes.
But
Anyway.
other than that, I think everybody did very well, you know. And even if it felt like it was something you could cut your teeth on, it really kind of showed. It really kind of stood out to me very much. That's how I'm gonna put it. So, are you ready to move on now?
Heck, oh my god, I was about to say heck yeah, and then I realized, here we go. We're gonna talk about possibly the most stupidest character in the fucking show. And no, it's not Carlos Tanaka.
So I guess with every good deck of cards, you gotta start from the Joker onwards.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
And out. Oh my god.
Sorry. I had to say it. Oh god. Alright, I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah, so in this group we have Joker, who's pretty much a mysterious figure in the background. He shows up for a handful of episodes, giving Rio, I guess, words of encouragement. Then we find out that in secrecy, she's actually Rio's mother, Risa Rollins, who used to be a casino dealer at the previous MVCD. Up until the Casino Dealers Guild kidnaps her, or tries to kidnap her, to which point she ran away. Basically, she has an ability, what's called a role ruler. A role ruler is an ability of a person's control, it's the ability of a person to control the flow of the game. And hers is, I guess, basically hammer-space or interdimension or something like that, where she can bring a player into a safe space where nobody's around. Remember how we were talking about logic a few minutes ago?
Here's your Millennium item. I don't fucking know. Maybe I don't know.
Yes, because she used to possess the number 2 gate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm talking about the role ruler. That's basically like your Millennium item bullshit logic going on here.
I was referring to the gates as the Millennium item because you have to be in possession before you can take control.
Also true.
Yes.
Also true. I still think the role ruler is a kind of Millennium item in my eyes. Go to no, it's the Shadow Realm. Fuck it. This is the Shadow Realm now.
What's not an item in my eyes, however, is Carlos Tanaka, who's pretty much in the background for most of the show.
Oh,
comic foil to the very end. He's pretty much Afro samurai, except he kind of sucks, and most of his katas are dairy products.
Oh my god, Carlos's only purpose is to serve as comedic relief, and then at the last second, he becomes plot relevant.
Yes, his only purpose is comic relief, but that's his alter ego. His actual identity is, police with the dealers, with the Casino Guild's police force, which I'm guessing that's kind of an internal security kind of thing, which we'll get more into that later, because, woo, boy.
You're in for a fun ride, boys and girls. Let's go.
Yeah. Pretty much defending against evil, which these next two, they're more like Jesse and James, to be honest, which is ironic.
Oh, it is a little bit of irony right here, yeah.
Because we have King, all broad, no braids.
King is a fucking idiot. I'm not sugarcoating it. He's a fucking idiot.
Strong contender for dumbest character in anime.
Yes, 100%.
I was gonna say, is that you or the coffee talking? But damn.
No, I'm the one drinking coffee. I'm the one that's making the comments.
No, I mean about how dumb he is, because usually, given the person who plays this character, you usually call that kind of character a goober. So.
Look. This dub predates the goober characters, including my fucking science son, alright?
And we also have Queen, whose ability is marksmanship. Pretty much she can hit her target, but other than that, she doesn't really do much, but also provide comic relief for this entourage. More on the entourage later, the person behind it, but getting right into these characters. Joker is played by Melly Grant. Carlos Tanaka is played by Anthony Sardina. King is played by Matt Shipman. And Queen is played by Michelle Knotts. Melly Grant, you've also heard her as Tamaya Yester in Fairy Tail. Amazon Warrior Goblin Slayer, Camila in BX. Egan the Morose Mayanoki in 2. And Corona in Super X Eros. I guess that brings a whole new meaning to fuck Corona this season.
God damn it.
Trust me, if you ever see, I doubt you'd ever want to see it, but if you ever see this show, you will understand why I said that. Anthony Sardina, you've also heard him as in this epithet erased, Dr. Gray in Totally Spies, and Traveling Travis in Paw Patrol.
Whoa, hold on. Anthony Sardina was Dr. Gray in Totally Spies?
That's what his website said.
What the actual fuck? I loved Totally Spies when I was in high school. Fuck! Okay, sorry. I had a moment.
It's all good.
I'll go back to my coffee.
It's been a hot minute since I watched Totally Spies. Matt Shipman, you've also heard as Norris in I Know Kusabi. Chrome and Dr. Stone. Hero in Darling in the Franxx. Speaking of heroes, he's Reto Enjo in Super X Heroes.
Oh boy, that show. I have heard things.
And Inasa in My Hero Academia. And Michelle Knotts, you've also heard as Karina in One Piece Film Gold. She's the current voice of Jessie, May, Misty, and a lot of other creatures in the Pokemon franchise. And Athena Glory in the Arya franchise. So, Steph.
I'm going to start with Matt and Michelle because these two are going to be very quick and very easy to do because they don't do a ton. Michelle Knotts. Notes. She doesn't have too much of a role. She's just there. Her and Matt are just there as like the villain of the week kind of scenario here. Though they do pop up again in tiny ways in the show, but I did enjoy Michelle. She was very tough and very what's the right way to put this? She's tough and very competitive, and it was a lot of fun how brief a role it is. My goddamn science son voices the most stupidest fucking character in the whole world. And this upsets me. Granted, this is before Matt became my science son, as well as my tennis son. Why is... I have 2 sons voiced by Matt Shipman, and this bothers me. Anyway. No. Matt is so stupidly enjoyable as King. He's the one who has the Gurren Lagann callback line. And it's just great. But I think what sells it for me is the moment where he's a dumbass and reveals his inner thoughts very much out loud. That he gets caught. And then the other characters are like, are you really that dumb? He's like, I'm not dumb. I can count all the way from 1 to 38. I know my alphabet from A to Q. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just dying the whole time. Just like, okay. And Matt just sells it so well. It is so much fun, and I loved every second of it, even though it's a minor role. God damn it. Anthony Sardinas, Carlos Tanaka, Dear Sweet Lord. Again, the only reason why Carlos Tanaka exists is as comedic relief. You cannot tell me otherwise. I don't even care. By the end, if he has plot relevancy, I don't care. This man is comedic relief, and Anthony Sardinas sells it so well. I think one of the funniest moments fairly early on when they're in the Sky Resort, and they're trying to find who the dealer is, the gateholder is that Rio's supposed to face. And Mint's trying to hunt down Carlos because supposedly he's the gateholder that Rio might be facing, but it's not. And she follows Carlos to the observation deck. He's just swinging a sword, like being wacko and shit, passes out, and security's just like, oh, this idiot had oxygen deprivation. Or lack of oxygen. It's like, oh my god. No, as I'm just purely stating this as comedic relief, I loved Anthony Sardina. He was a lot of stupid fun. Melly Grant as Risa. I actually enjoyed it pretty well for the most part. I actually, to agree a little bit with an earlier sentiment that Jamal pointed out, the mixing or the filter on Masked Joker was a bit weird. And I think, even though he's not here, I think he's the one who pointed it out. I think Hardy was the one who had mentioned before that the filter or the mixing early on, before you know it's Risa Rollins, seemed kind of heavy to try to give it a more androgynous tone. But after that, it's less so. Once we the audience at least know that it is Risa Rollins. So I don't know if that was a conscious decision. I don't know what the story is there. It was a little bit jarring though. But other than that, I really appreciated Melly's performance because it was a maternal figure. However, Risa Rollins does not take shit from anybody. 100%. And she will be like, look, you gotta fight your own battles. You can do this, kiddo. And she'll just push you out the door. And I appreciate that a lot. And I think this is the first time I get to talk about Melly Grant, which is kind of sad because I want to see Melly Grant in more things. I would love to see Melly Grant do more things. Someday, one day. Something that's not Fairy Tail, please and thank you. Because that's a long show to go through. No, but I did enjoy the performance from Melly. Despite, I think it's more it could be more technical things on the Joker end of it that might have hindered it a tiny bit, but otherwise than that, I really love the tone, I love the personality, and the overall just competitiveness that Risa gets to have in those episodes. But yeah, in general, these performances were fine, despite Matt and Michelle not having much to do in the whole show, so...
Okay, then. Amon.
Matt and Michelle are very entertaining. Michelle's the fun sort of femme fatale type, where they're shooting and their weird little space game that they play. She's a one-off character, but I think she puts in just a good solid performance with the character needs. Matt is very funny because King is... It's probably the moment where they point out, it's like, yeah, we know what you're doing because you've been saying your inner monologue out loud this entire time.
Yeah, that's the best.
And then he goes in his lore like, I can count all the way up to 38 by myself, and I know my alphabet up to Q. And he's very proud of these facts. He thinks this is extremely impressive. That just plays him really well as being like really confident and really oblivious to how ill-conceived his entire plan is. He's kind of like, shoot, I should have waited until she said what hand to pick before I crushed it.
It's like, damn it, maybe I need to figure out how the hell am I gonna get out of this. And then you see everybody else just staring at him like, is he fucking stupid?
It's true, he is that stupid.
It is. It's great.
So Matt's just really entertaining. Anthony Sardana is also... Carlos Tanaka's just weird. The entire show, I'm just like, what is his deal? He's too prominent to be a random side character. This all must be paying off somewhere. Where is this going? It turns to the end, it's like, oh, he's gambling cops. Okay. Sure, why not?
It's the police.
Pretty much. Anthony's very entertaining. He just does a good job of making this character who's just very weird and kind of over the top, and who just appears at various points, and he doesn't really seem to connect with anything. And making him, for one, making him entertaining to watch, and also making him like not he still sticks out, but he blends in well enough that you don't think too hard about why this character keeps showing up. Why is the comic relief so heavily centered on this character who's so irrelevant to the rest of the story? And he's just very entertaining all around. I found him quite fun to listen to whenever he's like, Tanaka's here. How will this poor bastard have his day ruined this time?
Oxygen deprivation.
Pretty much. Or getting like clocked in the head because someone thinks he's a fiend or something.
Didn't he like get stuck in that virtual reality thing at one point, and he does like a face plant into the fucking window or something?
Oh, poor bastard. Anthony's very entertaining in this. And Melly, I think she turns in quite a nice performance as Joker. She spends a lot of the initial part of it being very, mysterious, because either the audience or some of the characters aren't really aware of who Joker is, and she does this kind of, sort of cryptic, mentor-y kind of a figure very well. But later she also gets to do more, and elsewhere she gets to do more sort of dramatic stuff, especially when you start getting into like Ryo's backstory and how all that came to be and played out. I think she turns in a nice performance. This is more of a melodrama than like kind of a a straight drama a la your Fruits Baskets or something like that, where you're really supposed to care about what's happening. But I thought Melly brought the right touch to it. She had that right level of soap. I think a role like this, that kind of stuff requires. I don't think I found the mixing too heavy, but I also listen to a lot of music that has a lot of distorted vocals in it anyways, so years of parsing out what the hell people are talking about to begin with.
It affects you, yes. It's
true. I thought she turned in like a good strong performance for what that character kind of requires. She has to be this weird, rounded figure of drama in this silly show about gambling and boobs. So, kudos to her for doing, I think, a pretty good job on that. Kudos.
So yeah, I'm also gonna start with King and Queen. Queen Michelle Knotts. She did pretty good. She did her party episode. And it's kind of funny because during that same battle, at one point, she gets the upper ground when Ryo drops her gun. And then she comes back fighting using playing cards as shurikens. And I'm like,
where'd she stuff those cards? In her boobs? Oh, side note. Whoever decided to do the joke about the sugar glider, kudos to you. That was a fun one.
Yeah. Well, she did very good for the most part. Then she kind of led to the background being comic relief too. Which at one point you see Ryo and Mint playing concentration. She shows up on screen wearing a Jack suit, which we'll get to Jack later. But,
Man, Jack's not going to be very happy about that.
No.
Oh boy. Yeah, but other than that, she did very good. Matt Shipman is king. It's funny because I can't, other than the dance, I can't really ever recall a time Matt did a deep voice for a character before. I mean, this is basically, what if Maximilian Pegasus was a fucking idiot?
Just the dumbest.
I wonder if Matt channeled a slightly inner Maximilian Pegasus for this role. Please, Matt, did you channel a Maximilian Pegasus for this role? Probably not.
Which is ironic because I just remembered he's the main character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
It's all connected, guys. It's all connected.
It's this weird web. Next thing we're gonna know, the Illuminati's fucking involved. I don't know.
Oh, the Illuminati's definitely involved with the anime. Look at what goes on there.
Is Tupac back from the dead?
Oh my god. Well, last I knew he was a hologram, so yes, that means he's back from the dead.
I think we better move on before we cause more trouble.
Stupid. Oh god.
I don't even know if I want to cut that joke down.
We'll leave it to you, Editor Jamal. Editor Jamal lets up to his decision, but host Jamal is like, fuck it.
Oh boy. Speaking of oh boy, Carlos Tanaka, man. Anthony did a very good job playing this character because, like I said, because the only thing I know him for is as Indus in Epithet Race, that Indus is pretty much king if he was bulky and he ran security in a museum. So if you ever get the chance, watch Epithet Race because he's hilarious. He's also hilarious in this role too, up to the very end, where he reveals himself as a cop. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? Because at one point at the end, okay, I wanted to keep this together with the main character, but at one point at the end, they bring essentially the not Millennium puzzle together, the rainbows appeared, and then what I call the Rainbow Six Siege comes in, trying to take over the world.
God damn it. You're not wrong.
And then out of nowhere, you see both Joker and Carlos together, and it turns out they're part of a police force investigating insurgents inside the casino guild, trying to take control of the most valuable casino dealer, who we'll get to later on, but I think you can probably guess by the end of this episode. So, the fact that he all of a sudden has plot relevancy, it's kind of hilarious and kind of a hell of a heel. Is it a heel turn or
heel turn?
Okay, I don't know.
If it's bad guy to good guy, it's a face turn, I think.
Okay,
it's a heel turn if he becomes a bad guy.
Ah, gotcha.
I don't watch wrestling, so I wouldn't know. So.
I don't, but I follow enough people who do to get the lingo now.
Okay.
I know nothing.
But yeah, Carlos doing the face turn. Anthony managed to pull off very convincing sides of this character very well. And I really want to see more of him. I really do hope he gets more roles, or at least the second season Epithet Race, but only time will tell. Yeah, getting into Melly Grant too. It's impressive because I don't always get to talk about Melly Grant a lot, and I think one of the reasons that I had a problem with the filters, she has a naturally deep voice.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to obscure that. So either they would try, or they would not try, or they didn't really need to. So, because sometimes she could adjust her voice to the point that she could almost sound kind of androgynous, which I think was kind of needed for this character. And I know she's very good at androgynous because remember the BDX episode I'm on? She was so deep in that show to the point I legitimately thought it was Damon Mills, and if I could turn back time, I would have given her the Black Magic Award instead.
God damn it for that reference, first of all.
What, Dave?
Turn back time.
We've rushed and shared twice now.
No, like I can quickly agree with you that Melly's natural register is rather lower. My introduction to Melly was actually I Know Kusabi, and even though I did not get to talk, I was not part of that episode. The performance that Melly Grant gave, even though it was a very minor character, was in a lower register, and it took me a minute to try and figure out, is this actually male, female? What is the point here? And then it's like, oh, cool. Okay, Melly is a human that exists. I like you. So I can agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. So wherever the problem lies in mixing, it didn't really bother me too much. I mean, and I also want to see another one too. Like, I'm actually considering. I actually maybe want to watch Fairy Tail just for her. It's funny.
You'll be at it for a while.
Now, if I skip a few parts. But
True.
It's funny because I didn't say this before, but I wanted to say that if Simfuki ever came out, I hope she gets to voice Cagliostro, and then I found out it is coming out without a dub. But so that's seriously her against Shota Aoi. That would be impressive.
Mm.
And you see what character Shota Aoi plays. Megan showed us the video at A-Fest. Anyway, all four of these performances did very good, and we like to see them in future stuff. So we good to move on?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who wants to learn the magics of Android?
Oh, I do.
You just spoke Amon's language.
Coming up next, we have a magician and an android, if you can believe it. We have Dana, who owns her own theater, somehow practices with tarot cards, which I guess I don't understand because I never really made much magic, but she can, in some ways, predict the future if you pay close attention. Kind of mysterious in her own way. It helps out Rio the gang when needed. She's also the number 8 card holder. And then we have Linda, who, well, when you first meet her, she's a quote-unquote normal person. with unusual super strength, and then her head pops off at one point. You find out that she's the computer terminal for the newly minted Sky Resort. Able to walk around in an android body.
And lose her head every single episode in some form or fashion.
Yep. To which,
hello, gags.
Speaking of which, at one point, she possessed the number 4 gate and challenged Rio to a gate battle on the water slides, if you can believe it.
I just realized something. How did she not fry her goddamn circuits?
She's waterproof, duh.
Jesus Christ. My brain.
Yeah. Anyway, playing these two, Dana is played by Michelle Rojas, while Linda is played by Sarah Ann Williams. Michelle Rojas, you've also heard as Tokayada in the Assassination Classroom, Tokayata Gami in Data Life, Kanan Matsura in Love Life Sunshine, Koyagami New Game, and Shion in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Sarah Ann Williams, you've also heard as Kiki in Hells. Midori Ikishima and Kakigurui, speaking of gambling. Tsuchinoko Kimono Friends, Nono and Kill la Kill, Sayaka and Madoka Magica, and Koyaten, aka Sailor Star Healer and Sailor Moon Sailor Stars. So, Steph, you want to take it from here?
Sure. I'll start with Michelle because, in all honesty, while Dana does have a decent-sized role, it's not as prevalent. That doesn't mean like Michelle fades into the background or anything like that. The vocal tone to me and the personality of the character are very similar to, since Amon brought this up earlier, Boogie Pop from Boogie Pop and Others.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to that. So it makes a lot of sense given that Dana can be a bit mysterious and just kind of in the background and just, she's an observer character more than anything. She tries to not be active in the plot or the conversation that much. Later on in the show, she is forced to be a bit more active in the conversation, and has a role in the show, because we don't even find out she's a gateholder until the last third of the show. Mm-hmm. But given the vocal tone and making it a wider dynamic in terms of different voices, I really did like the performance that Michelle gave. Sarah Ann Williams as Linda. Oh, God. Linda. Where's my notes about Linda? Okay. Linda is very peppy and fun, but can be stiff at times, but that's probably because she's a robot. Voicing robot characters is hard, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yep.
You can never find a happy medium between being so stiff and robotic and having a personality but losing the robotic sense to it. It is a very difficult and fine line to walk, and I think Sarah Ann Williams was so stupidly fun. It could get very early on, at least to me, it was a little bit grating and annoying because it was like way too peppy and out there, and sometimes Linda's laugh was also very robotic. But again, that's the point. But the performance and the voice grew on me as time went on, and fuck, we haven't brought this up yet. Can we talk about the little OVA episode that's included in the set that they did dub, and God bless them for doing this, because Linda as King Kong is exactly what I fucking wanted in my life. It's the thing I didn't know I wanted, but I needed so bad. It's great. And that entire episode makes me wish that the entire show was just ass backwards comedy like this. Not to say the show doesn't have comedic moments, but shit more like this. But no, it was a little rough at first and could be a little grating and obnoxious at times. But all things considered, with the character and the personality, Sarah just had so much fun. She's definitely one of the actors in this show that had a lot of fun voicing their character. 100%. I would say Sarah, the person who voices Tom Howard, and fuck it, let's throw Matt as King, because he had a stupid fun moment. There are, if anything, this show has some fun performances. Sarah Ann Williams is no exception to this. I'm done.
Okay, Amon?
Mm-hmm. Michelle Rojas, she does a good job as Dana. As Steph mentioned, Dana doesn't have a lot to do in the show. She's kind of she's an observer. She gives out cryptic warnings and advice. And aside from kind of her one gambling battle with Rio, kind of hangs in the background. But I do like how Michelle brought to the role. I thought she did get that sort of mystic, witchy, reserved personality down. So even though she doesn't show up too much, I did like her when she was on screen. I thought she did play the character really well. Sarah Ann Williams is Linda. Aggressively peppy, obnoxiously so. Just so sugar sweet, just on point. So Sunny has had way too much coffee this morning and is always having too much coffee because she's a robot and that's how she's programmed.
She has a cup of coffee every hour.
Exactly. This could absolutely have descended in just being pure obnoxiousness, and I think Sarah does a good job of being just the right level of obnoxiousness for the character without it tumbling into something that's just grating and not fun to listen to. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed her performance a lot. I thought she was very excuse me. I thought she was very entertaining. I had a lot of fun. Also on her end, I want to give a shout out to the mixing during the episode where she's being the gate battle's happening and she's basically being controlled by people. I thought the editing they did when she's kind of robot stuttering and glitching out, I thought that was really well done, actually. I thought they really figured out kind of how to sample and loop that correctly so it sounded like the image you always have of a robot doing that. And I thought that was really well, both on Sarah's recording end and just for the mixing they did to put together. As someone who likes robots in fiction, I appreciate it when people put in the time and effort. So, Yeah, Sarah's a hoot. I thought she and yes, her whole like bit in the OVA where she helps some aliens and they give her wish, which is that she wants to know what dreaming is like, and it turns into like a weird horror film for like 10 minutes.
It was fucking great. It's the best.
Just everyone's a mannequin. Their heads keep falling off.
Don't lose your head.
God damn it. Not how the song goes. Fuck you. Fuck you, Jamal.
Yeah, I thought Sarah did a fine job. I quite enjoyed her performance. Good stuff.
Oh God.
You done?
Yes.
Alright, so my turn then. Show Will Haas's Data. While yes, Data is kind of an observant character, Michelle did a very good job with her because for the longest time, even when I knew the cast list, I kept forgetting Michelle voiced Data because I was like, wait, who is this? This doesn't sound familiar to me. Then when I found out it was Michelle, I was like, oh, that's impressive. Because at one point I wanted to put her down for voice acting Black Magic back when this came out, but she kind of lost to somebody else. So, but yeah, she didn't get much to do up until the last third of the show. Mm-hmm. But I thought for what it was worth, she did. Michelle did very good in this role. I really like Data as a character much. I just wish Data had more to do other than just magic. Sarah Ann Williams is Linda. Yeah, yeah, she's aggressively peppy. It's like
so peppy.
I don't think coffee would be good to describe it. Maybe Monster Energy or something
Either
like that.
coffee, Monster Energy, caffeine pills, or could be a stupid combination of all three of those things.
And even then, you would still not get to the level that Linda has.
No, you would need more.
More than humanly possible. So
maybe that's why she's a robot. I don't know.
it's kind of amazing because we brought it up earlier. Her role is Midori Kakigurui. This is kind of a stark contrast to that character because that character is just aggressively scary.
Have not watched Kakigurui, so I'm gonna need a little context.
I haven't either, except for one episode, maybe, but I heard some things. So,
boy.
Let me just say, I'd rather be on this side of Sarah Ann Williams' Linda than Sarah Ann Williams' Midori. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha. Good to know.
But yeah, she manages to play the role very well, to the very best of her abilities, and obviously I want to see more of Sarah and more roles. But I haven't watched a lot of California dubs lately, so when there's a time, we will get there, though. But other than that, these two did very good. Are we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah.
Alright then, so now we're starting to get into some good stuff. Right now, we're going to start with Rio's Entourage. They're pretty much a support group of best friends, and also employees of the Howard Resort Casino. Except for one, which is Rosa Canyon. She's a model and actress. Often out on a lot of glamour shoots or movie sets. You don't see her as much in the middle half. You see her in the beginning and the end. At one point during episode 3, she gets possessed by a ghost named Misery.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
And she tries to battle Rio for, I guess, control of the castle. Was it control of the castle? Yeah, it was control of the castle because Howard bought the castle as one of his properties. I swear that man gets himself into some mischief.
So many of his problems are his own fault.
The amount of problems that happens in this show, you can easily blame Howard for.
Oh, definitely.
100%. And that man doesn't give a shit so long as he's making money. That's it. It's kind of great, actually.
Yeah, so anyway, she gets possessed by Misery, charges Rio not to game out, just a regular casino game for property, loses, and is supposed to leave Rosa's body, but as we find out throughout the course of the show, she still possesses Rosa. And Rosa kind of deals with it throughout the show. As well as a major turning point when Howard loses his casino. More on that later. She comes back into town and rushes to the end of her friends to where at one point they manage to win a whole lot of money from the newly renovated casino. Again, more on that later. To which Tiffany Abbott, Elle Adams, and Elle Adams were former employees of at the time. Tiffany Abbott is you usually see her dressed as a bunny girl or so, but she's kind of a big sister to the support group. Speaking of sisters, we have Elle and Elle, who are twin sisters. One is also kind of not aggressively pep, not as aggressive as Linda though, but she manages to, I guess, brainstorm some ideas and spew a few comments about Howard. And her sister Elle speaks one, if not two words, sometimes rarely three. Doesn't get a lot to do until the OVA, but even then she doesn't speak as much. But we'll get to the OVA later, but playing these four. Rosa Canyon is played by Natalie Van Sistine. Tiffany Abbott is played by Melissa Sterningberg. Elle Adams is played by Amanda Lee, and Elle Adams is played by Caitlin French. Rosa Canyon, you've also heard as Natalina in Actor, Songs Connection, the Silver Fox in Kimono Friends, and the esthetician in Thermite Romai. Melissa Sterningberg, you've also heard as Nanako in Actor, Songs Connection, Edinburgh and Asher Lane, Mirage and Beanex, and the Hippo and Kimono Friends. Armor.
God damn it.
Damn you, Andrew. At Madeline, you've also heard as Rine Amagane in Hells, Anzu and Hidamatsuri, Princess, the Royal Penguin in Kimono Friends, and Nemarine in Magical Girl Racing Project. Poor Nemarine. And Caitlin French, you've also heard as Sakura in Beyond the Boundary, Miyu Edefeld in Fate Collide Line of Prisma Ilya, Hana Izuzu in Girls Un Panzer, and Shiro in No Game No Life.
Neato. Would you like me to go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to start with Natalie Van Sistine and Rosa Canyon. Because Rosa, I kind of like Rosa as a character. Because she is supportive and she's really nice and everything. But you can tell she kind of does think highly of herself because she is a star.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come off as overly pretentious and obnoxious, which is fantastic, and I love that. And I love the tone that Natalie uses for this role to give that personality and presence, but also that supportive figure. I'm also under the assumption that Natalie Van Sistine also voiced Misery, unless I'm wrong.
I think she did, because unless the credits said otherwise, yeah, that was pretty much her.
To which, god damn it, if that's the case. Misery is a character that exists, who is this vengeful ghost, and I really love Natalie's portrayal of Misery, because if it is Natalie, bearing in mind, if this is Natalie voicing Misery as well, she basically has to voice two different characters on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and boy, howdy does she fucking kill it. Misery is just, like, very vengeful, like, I want to make a bet. It's very creepy and can be unsettling at times, but also, it's creepy and unsettling, but at the same time, it also gives way to some comedic moments from it, too. And I think one of my favorite things with Misery, to which, first of all, bitch, I thought you were leaving Rosa alone. What the fuck? That was part of the deal. Why are you back? And why does no one fucking acknowledge that Rio put that as part of the deal when she went against her? Small tirade. But I think one of the funnier moments for Natalie as Misery is the fucking chicken fingers.
It was chicken wings.
Chicken wings, thank you. Because apparently Misery's favorite food is chicken wings. And she basically rates this delivery truck that's supposed to bring a bunch of fucking chicken wings to the resort. And then as Elle and Eel are trying to, like, track down Rosa, I think it is, because they were trying to find Rosa, they come across Misery as Rosa with Misery possessing her, and Misery's just like carnal, like destroying these chicken wings. It's freaking hilarious as all hell. It's like very aggressive eating of food. I couldn't help but fucking laugh. It was great. But no, Natalie basically having to voice 2 different characters unless we're told otherwise. It was a lot of fun. Melissa Sternberg as Tiffany. Tiffany has less of a role compared to the other 3 characters in this section, I think. But given who Tiffany is and what roles she does have to play, I think Melissa did a great job. She was a fun big sister role to everybody. Maybe even to an extent, including Rosa, I guess. And she also loves to call out Tom Howard for his bullshit on a constant basis. And it's like, thank you for calling out his stupid bullshit, because someone has to. But I enjoyed it a lot. Elle and Eel, this is very interesting to me, because I've heard Amanda Lee in a variety of things. I was very confused when I saw this list originally before going into the show. I'm like, which one's Elle and which one's Eel? Neither of them sound like Amanda Lee, though. I couldn't tell them apart because the voice that Amanda Lee used for Elle is not what I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with Amanda Lee in Zombieland Saga, in Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. I'm familiar more with that kind of vocal range and tone. I'm not familiar with this, and so this character's definitely a bit older. I would think she has to be older to work at a fucking casino, right? And it's a bit older, a bit more mature, and I think it lends very well, and I really like it. Caitlin French for her part as Eel. I am glad that you did bring up Shiro from No Game No Life, because even though I have not watched the entirety of the dub, I think I've really only seen clips of it. This is Shiro. 100%, the tone and the personality are very similar to what I've seen of Shiro in No Game No Life. However, Eel is also a precious cinnamon roll, too good and pure for this earth. And despite not having much to say, I still enjoy the personality and the humor and just such a precious child. And the extra episode too, where she's helping Choco find a present for Mint, is just adorable as all hell. Because you have basically 2 of the quietest characters in the entire show just helping each other out, and it gives Caitlin a chance to play a big sister role to an extent to Choco, and I appreciate every second of it. So, granted, all 4 of these performances don't have huge significant roles, but to each their own in their own way, they are fun, dynamic roles that I did enjoy throughout the whole show.
Okay, now Amon.
Let's start with Melissa as Tiffany. Tiffany doesn't seem to have a lot to do for the most part. Having never played any of these games, I can only assume she is some sort of other mascot character who they included and then couldn't find much to do with. But I do like Melissa's performance as Tiffany during the show. I think, Tiffany has that kind of friendly big sister vibe. She looks out for the other girl. She's been there a little bit longer. She knows kind of the ropes a little better. I think Melissa does let that come across, even if she isn't given that much to do by the show itself. Amanda and Caitlin work really well together as Elle and Ill. They have a fun Timmy and Tommy Nook vibe.
Oh my god! Did you really make a comparison to Timmy and Tommy?
Well, I mean, look, one of them takes the lead, the other one repeats the last few words of the sentence. That is literally Timmy and Tommy's dynamic. It's exactly the same.
Fuck you for making me realize this. I hate you. You're not wrong. God.
Anyways, I like their interplay a lot. They play off each other really well. I think Ill is actually the one who gets that Homestar Runner line that I'm so enamored with, so, like that. I also like during the OVA when Caitlin... Alright, viewers at home. Let me do this. So, we're going to encounter a character later named Mint. Mint has a stuffed bear. There's an episode where one of the gate holders is this Chinese girl who steals the teddy bear and slaps one of those, like, you know, wards that they put on Chinese vampires on its head and turns it into her twin, basically, another little Chinese girl. In the OVA, another one of these wards gets stuck on the bear, so it turns back into this, like, Chinese girl who can't talk. And she suddenly remembers, wait, Mint wanted a camera. I should go get this camera, despite the fact that she cannot say anything, nor does she have any money. And she ends up running into Il, who is able to communicate well enough with her. They kind of go on a little adventure to try and get this camera. It is very adorable. It is also extremely weird when you think about all these things having to come together for this conceit to happen, but not the weirdest thing in this show, whatever. Caitlin's very fun during that. It's probably the most dialogue she gets in the whole show, and it's very sweet and charming. But the big standout in this collection for me is Natalie as Rosa. I find Rosa very entertaining because she knows she is hot shit, but she is still not top dog in this casino, and there's nothing she can do about that. And she's sort of okay with it, but not really. So you get a lot of her just being entertainingly grousy. Also, the whole bit of her being possessed is just funny because there's something just very weird and silly about this extremely classy woman just chowing down on chicken wings constantly because she's been possessed by a ghost who wants its castle back.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's a time. Natalie,
Yeah.
Natalie's just a lot of fun. She just really nails the whole kind of like hot shit actress stuff really well. It also never comes off as like kind of grating or like, oh, I feel like I should hate this character. It's usually just like, no, she's good, and she's not the main character in this story. She'd be a main character in another story, but she's not the main character in this story. And she can deal with that, but she's not necessarily going to be that happy about it. But like I enjoyed her performance especially a lot. I thought she was just a lot of fun on screen in general. The squad's a good time. I liked them.
Okay, I'm just gonna sidebar 1 second because apparently Roots just made a reference to the song Milkshake on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
God damn it. Why?
Because there's something going around about I think it's like a McFlurry or something made of Oreos that is like absolutely horrifyingly bad for you or something like that.
Well, that's for Baskin Robbins, but
there
yeah.
we go, thank you.
Jesus, I hate that song.
Oh, fuck you, Roots. I'm looking at it now. Oh god, the first reply, Jacob Wilson, it's better than mine. Well played, sir. Well played.
Anyway, speaking of bringing something to the table, let's start with Tiffany. Yeah, I agree that pretty much the latter three don't really get as much to do in the show, other than, I guess, be part of Rio's entourage, which, oddly enough, when you look at them in the intro, for some reason it kind of reminds me of Dionne Warwick and his network of psychic friends for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. I've never seen any of that stuff. I just know about it. But yeah, Melissa really plays the big sister role very well, which is ironic because we have two actual sisters. Admittedly, I believe this role kind of predates before she came to Funimation. I think she might have still been out in California at that time when they was doing song covers.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, yeah.
Caitlin French, I haven't heard her in a lot of roles to the point I can pick her out in the dub, but even though it sounded monotonous, she kind of kept it from being robotic, and I think she did very well with the role. However, the standout of these four is Natalie Van Sistine, because for one thing, yeah, Rosa made me strut like she's hot stuff, but she never excuse me. She
Good
never
job.
yeah, but she never completely acts like it, you know? Like, 'cause I know she cares for real, but at the same time, there's also like some basic tendencies with being a model, because she talks about, because she doesn't realize that she was possessed that whole time in the episode up until the latter half of episode 3. And even then, she kind of disappears for the most part, but hers misery is very impressive. And if that wasn't her, then I do apologize, Natalie. It's just, it was very impressive, because Because that scene where Ellen Ill find her in the hallway eating chicken wings, she kind of went full exorcist at that point. To the point I was expecting her head to just turn, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, like literally, you see her crawling on the wall at one point. That was very scary, really.
The show has all sorts of weird turns when you get down to it.
It does. It I want to say it's hard to keep up, but it's actually not.
No, that's why it's only 14 episodes, so... Hey, longer than it would have been hard to keep up. But for what it's worth, everybody did their job very well. And, now we're going into more of the entourage. I guess we got the big boss and someone at a loss, I guess.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it. We have Ham and Klutz.
Big boss and Lady Lost. We have Tom Howard, the head honcho of the Howard Resorts, and I guess in some ways an information broker. He knows more about his employees and so that he actually lets on. That's because behind his greedy dealings and so, he's also had interaction with Risa Rollins, Rio's mother. So, so at some point he becomes more caring than he needs to later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, first and foremost, he's a greedy pig, and this man will buy up any property he can. And at one point, he kind of shows his distrust. I want to say unintentionally, but it sounded more like intentionally for his employees. It's like, don't you care about what happens to the resort if you lose? And stuff like that. It's like, God damn, you selfish bastard. but deep down inside, you also have another side you don't see as much. And we also have the Russian dealer, Anya Helsing. Newly minted dealer at the Howard Resort. I'm gonna get straight into it. This girl, clumsy as hell.
This girl falling over all the damn time. Like, not even joking. She falls every time.
Yeah, she knocks 3 times on the ceiling. But you don't want her.
No.
Nope. She's so clumsy that during the OVA she attempts not to fall, but...
And then it just fails spectacularly by the end of it.
But I think my favorite moment is was when she interacted with Elvis and she gives him a bandit because he cut her finger. And Elvis loses his gate battle as a result. And I'm like, that is straight up getting hardcore old if you lose because of a band-aid.
Womp womp.
Again, this show is an acid trip. I try not to make sense of it if I can help it.
Yes.
But playing these two, Tom Howard is played by Mike Pollock. And Anya Helsing is played by Natalie Hoover. I'm gonna start with Natalie. You've heard Natalie in other roles such as Ariso Ahokainen from Akiba's Trip, Tomoyo Daidoji from Card Captor Sakura, the Clear Card arc, Arian Conception, Sonya Nevermind from the Danganronpa franchise, and Yakusha Kure from How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift. Mike Pollock, you've also heard as Marcus in World War Blue, Adon in Berserk, Deus Prometh in Promare, and he is the Eggman! That's who he plays, he is the Eggman! He's got the master plan!
Fucking hell, these song references. Oh, God.
I'm sorry, I love Sonic Adventures. Excuse me. Yes, he is, of course, the current voice of Eggman in the Sonic franchise. Dr. Eggman, excuse me.
Oh, boy. I'm gonna start with Natalie. And I'm gonna start talking about Natalie like this. So remember how I said Andrew watched most of this show with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When we're first introduced to Anya. And
Oh boy.
we get the whole thing with her and her character in that, I think it's like episode 2. He's just like, I hate her. What is this clumsy bitch doing? Like all the time he was yelling at her and it was great. Later on though, like he slowly comes to realizations like, you're doing your best, sweetie. I'm rooting for you.
I mean, that's basically the character in a nutshell.
It is. And I think Anya ended up becoming Andrew's favorite character in the whole fucking show. It was funny. And probably one of the reasons why Anya ended up as Andrew's favorite character could possibly be Natalie Hoover, because she's adorable as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's Natalie Hoover being Natalie Hoover, yes. However, Natalie Hoover is being a dealer who is the clumsiest fucking bitch in the world, and it is the most precious thing in the goddamn universe. Like, you can't help but root for this girl. Like, you just can't help it. And fucking every time she has one of her clumsy moments, it's so cute, and it just ends up being so hilarious. But aside from being a huge bit of comedic relief and a constant gag in the whole series, Anya still is a very supportive, very optimistic character, and is like always rooting for the winning side, and Natalie just performs that very, very well. She's very cheerful, she's very peppy, she's very positive, and all of that encapsulates Anya's personality so perfectly, and I love it so much. Fucking Mike Pollock as Tom Howard. TLDR, Tom Howard's my favorite performance in the whole fucking show.
Oh, man.
Because of how much of a, not only because of how much of a dick this man is, but because Mike Pollock makes this so fucking hammy, and he chews the scenery and steals scenes all the goddamn time, that every time you do, it's like, this dude's a prick. He's a prick, he's an asshole, he's greedy as shit, but but the performance is done in such a way that you can't help but still love the performance regardless, because it's just that hammy and that scene chewy. Like, where I had a note. He's and side note, fucking this character is a goddamn pervert 100%.
150%.
You right. You right. Because, like, all of the shenanigans that Rio ends up involved with, he's the one who picks out the costumes every single time. Mm-hmm. And with the exception of probably one, that one being the one that she wore against Misery, revealing, all to hell, there's cleavage. There are a few games in the whole show where he's basically doing like a strip poker kind of freaking game. Like, this man is horrible. This man is a horrible human being. This man should be punted into the sun, and yet at the same time, Mike Pollock makes it so goddamn hammy and enjoyable. I could not help but fall in love with the performance by the end of the fucking show. That is why this is my favorite performance of the entire show. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm done.
Okay, then. Amon.
Anya should be an annoying character because her trait is that she's cute, but very, very clumsy. But I feel like if you're going to do that, and you're also going to have the character be so clumsy that they make roulette wheels roll around, and palm trees fall over and crush cars, and indeed make robots' heads fall off, then I feel like at least you're using it for good physical comedy. Natalie also helps. She is delightfully endearing, I think. She does a good job of making Anya feel like she is in fact trying really hard to do a good job. And that just the fates are not going to be kind to her. All she wanted to do is not trip all day. Just not fall over. And not only does she trip at the end, she causes an island-wide power outage in the process. God is a cruel master.
God is cruel, but it's
God is
alright.
But Natalie is very charming. She very much sells that, like, I know what my job is. I'm going to try and do it, even if it's going to go poorly. She was just a delight to be around. I feel like this could have been a very, like, kind of annoying character, or at least like, this is just supposed to be kind of like appealing to a certain set of fans, and that's kind of it, and it'd be kind of boring. But I actually think she brought enough to the character that it's like, yeah, I can enjoy this as good comic relief. This is entertaining. And then we have Mike. I'm gonna have to echo a lot of what Steph has already said. He is just absolutely delightfully terrible. What an awful man. Mike plays him like the exact kind of like sleazy casino owner he is and should be played as. Mm-hmm. And he's got that wonderful barking baritone to go with him the whole time. Although really my favorite part is the OVA episode where you see him like he meets like Mince like teddy bear that's been turned into a person. You realize how
Choco, yeah.
You realize how like short and weirdly proportioned he is, which I hadn't figured out prior to that because he's mostly like sitting.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like all torso. Where's the rest of you? It's like an Easter Island head grew a body and started walking around or something.
Great comparison. I love it. Shit.
And weirdly enough, Mike gives the exact kind of voice you'd expect out of that kind of character. It's like,
oh shit,
you're a crass asshole, and I kind of like you. Probably because you're not my boss. So
he's a horrible boss.
He is funny because I don't have to deal with him. If I had to deal with him, it would be much less entertaining. But he's a fictional character, so I don't have to deal with him. So I can just find him amusing.
Huzzah!
Yeah, no, Mike plays a jerk real well. Which, based on what I know, means Mike's probably a very nice man, because that seems to happen a lot. Yeah, just just a fun performance. Just like the exact correct level of just sort of amusingly sleazy. I liked it a lot.
You done?
Excuse me. Yes.
Okay, then. So I'm also gonna start with Natalie, because well, these kind of characters, I usually like them because, you know, it's the epitome of, you're trying your best, sweetie.
Yeah.
So I don't really hate on them the way some people do. But, you know.
We're calling him out. It's great. It's fine.
I mean, it's not her fault she's naturally clumsy. She probably, for all we know, she could have been born with 2 left feet.
Look, it's alright. Look, it's alright. If anything is true in an episode that probably will get released after this, Andrew is now canceled, so.
Womp womp.
Womp womp womp. Whoops.
But yeah, you know, Natalie did a very good job being very cutesy, very charming with this character. And again, with these kind of characters, you know, I kind of adore them because, for one, I'm not taking the show as seriously. I mean, Jesus Christ, she actually manages to bend palm trees. Not tear them, not drop them or anything. The palm trees actually bent.
How the fuck did she do that? I don't understand.
I live in Florida and I've seen palm trees blow down. I have never seen any of them bend.
Oh man, that's insane.
Yeah. And Mike Pollock as Tom Harris. This is probably the first time ever I'm talking about Mike Pollock because I'm usually used to him as Eggman from the Sonic games, and I know actors knock their characters, but I have a hard time picturing Eggman running a casino, you know? Especially after Sonic Adventure and Sonic Heroes, but when I first started watching this and I heard Mike Pollock, for some reason my brain thought, this sounds like a 4Kids kind of dub. And then I'm like, no, this is not 4Kids. This is just unique. And Mike Pollock, I guess I'm going to go along with Steph as well. Mike Pollock was pretty much the standout overall. Because his voice is so unique and it kind of rings in your head. Like, I know I still can't get Eggman out of my head, but Mike does very good playing what's supposed to be a very bad guy, but deep down he has some secrets. He's also, I guess in some way, secretly caring of his top employee, of most of his employees, really. He doesn't show it as much, you know. But yeah, that man, other than that man, his character is definitely a pervert, because I didn't bring this up, but from the scripted segment, when I talked about Rio also making the cameo in Dead or Alive Paradise. Mm-hmm. At one point, Tom Howard talks about a series of games that he wanted to put out as casino events. Mm-hmm. Literally, at one point, he mentions Dead or Alive Paradise. So I'm like, somebody on script was self-aware of this.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
I would have bet it was Howard Wang, but that's just me. So, other than that, they did very well. Oh man, we got 3 sections left. We gonna do this good.
Yeah, I know. Can I point out a couple weird things? Speaking of Tom Howard, though.
Yeah, what's up?
I realized I had a note here about it, and I didn't fucking bring it up.
Go ahead.
Speaking of stupidly hammy with Mike Pollock, every time he was smoking a fucking cigar was just like the cheesiest bullshit because he's like, ah!
Yeah.
It's just like such an aggressive exhale and puff of smoke. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
It's because he's got big flappy gums, that's why.
I know, right? It's such a scene stiller. Every time he did that, I just laughed my ass off. I'm like, this is such an aggressive puff of smoke. What is happening?
I know, right?
Oh, shit.
And now we move on to, I guess, the last of the main villains. Well, one of them is our main antagonist, really. The other is part of an entourage. We have Yang Yang. We have, as Amon alluded to earlier, Choco. And we have our antagonist, Kanya Goldschmidt. Now, Yang Yang is the number 10 card holder. She's a little Chinese girl who possesses a very specific power. She has the ability to transform objects with her talismans. The only drawback is the items have to be made in China.
Yeah. There's one hitch in this ability. It has to be made in China. To which Choco is specifically pointed out very early on that Choco was made in China. God.
Yes, to which Choco is Mid's teddy bear, who comes to life as a little girl of her own through the use of this magic talisman. She also goes by the name of Anna during the concentration episode, but you don't realize it's her until much later. And then we have our main antagonist, Kanya Goldschmidt. Pretty much devious.
AKA this bitch.
Yes, probably the most devious dealer of them all. At first, you would think she's aiming to take over Howard Casino. For whatever reason, we don't know. I mean, I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but
she messing with no broke.
She ain't messing no broke ninjas.
Yeah.
Shit. But we come to find out that her true purpose, other than deceiving those around her, is that she aims to collect the gates to see the rainbow at the end of them. What exactly does that mean? We will find out at the end of this segment.
I want to see my rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
This is going to be an interesting discussion to have because playing these three, Yang Yang is played by Cheryl Lee, aka Emmy Look. Kanya Goldschmidt is played by Marissa Lenti. And Choco is played by Marissa Lenti.
Oh God, I was wondering, this is the one section that's very weird to me because I'm like, Yang Yang and Choco, why are they in this? Especially Choco. And then I watched the show, I'm like, oh. I get it.
So, Cheryl Lee, you've also heard as Ayano Fujimoto in Hensky, Keiko Kikuchi in It Invaded, the Small Clawed Otter in Kimono Friends, and Asano Izumi in Kono Otomore, Sounds of Life. Marissa Lenti, you also heard as Saiko Nogami in City Hunter, Shinjuku Private Eyes, Momoko Yakushiki in Nabaka, and Olivier Vanderbeam in No Guns Life. Marissa Lenti, you've also heard as
God,
Alicia
are we
Florence.
really going with this joke? Fuck. Damn it, Jamal.
It's kind of customary at this point. You've also heard as Alicia Florence in the Arya franchise, Arya Dora in Cautious Hero, and Shadow in B-Dex Neo. Now, before we begin,
We could have shaved off 30 seconds, you not repeating Marissa.
I know, before we begin, can we all agree that other than one line and a handful of expressions, there's really nothing to talk about with Marissa Lenti as Choco, unless you want to? Can we all agree on that?
She gives very good nonverbal communication.
She's adorable as shit as Choco. I like it.
Yes, I'd also like to say bullshit. That's Marissa Lenti.
Also,
bullshit.
Yes, 100%. To be fair, Choco says nothing.
Well, she says one line and a handful of expressions. That's it. But I did not even realize that was her. But we'll get into that later. Anyway, you go ahead, Steph.
Oh, sweet lord. I'll start with Cheryl Lee and Yang Yang. Because Yang Yang isn't really there. She's just there. Similar to King and Queen, she's just your villain of the week kind of situation. But given... I will say I am appreciating Cheryl Lee a lot more because I have been seeing a few more shows that she has been doing. Not under the name of Cheryl Lee, of course, but one being under her real name, one being Smile Down the Runway, and her role there is very sweet and adorable, and it makes me, because between this, Smile Down the Runway, and another show whose dub just started at the time of recording this, I'm excited for Cheryl, and I want to see her in more things because she's very precious and cute and adorable, which is exactly who Yang Yang as a character is. Precious and adorable. Aside from Marissa being sweet as sin as Choco, that aside,
She's also sinful as sin too here.
That's why I said sweet as sin. Choco aside, Marissa Lenti, I did enjoy as Cartia quite a bit. The tone reminds me of... you said it when you were talking about her. What the heck is her name in No Gun's Life?
Olivier.
Thank you. The tone does remind me of Olivier. Obviously, this very much predates Olivier by 3-4 years. But point still stands. But I do love the tone of voice, the mannerisms. Cartia does exude confidence, which is just fantastic because Cartia is a no-nonsense, confident woman who's just like, it's my way or the highway, bitches. Either you get in my freaking casino or you're done, bitch. And I love the attitude and the presence that Marissa does give as Cartia a lot. Did I have any other notes on Marissa outside of that? I don't think I had much outside of that from Marissa. No, I don't have anything much outside of that from Marissa. No, so, yeah, Marissa exudes this confident, like, no-nonsense attitude, and I really loved that about Cartia. And then, oh man, to see her plans be ruined in the end. Oh, sweet, sweet victory and vengeance. I loved every second of it. By the way, can we bring up the really brief side plot note that is Cartia having a relationship with your Rainbow Six Siege lead, like, person horseshit that's only brought up for a second, and then the second that fails and he leaves, he's like, nah, Cartia, we're over. It's like, oh, that was fast. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, your relationship's down in the gutter now. Good for you. Like, in general, they just relented so fucking quickly too. They just let it go so fast. It's like, oh, so you're just here, now you're gone. Oh, this show. But no, I do enjoy both Cheryl and Marissa's performances. I'm going to say this again because I said this on another episode that I am involved with in the near future. I would love to see Cheryl in more things, and Marissa, God, I love Marissa Lenti. She's always a joy to watch, and I Jesus Christ, she makes Cartia such a badass bitch, and I love it. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay.
Alright. Let's see. Cheryl Yang Yang is very cute. I I don't know, it's a little sad when she's talking about how lonely she is and how she makes Choco into a person because she wants someone to hang out with. It's like, oh, even if you're kind of a weirdo.
It's like this poor baby.
Right. That also, that whole episode is just a trip because it's clearly like, all right, we need to get, all right, concentration. How do we make that exciting? Explosions, obviously. Why didn't you think of it sooner?
It's called exploding concentration. That's the name it was given, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think it was.
I like it's explosive concentration, and yet there was a virtual dinosaur and one guy getting punched in the back by a boxer.
I feel like they came with a bunch of ideas for possible games that didn't go anywhere, and they used explosive concentration as just a way to cycle through all those or something. It's
maybe.
Well, I mean, Tom Howard did say there's a reason why that arena was fucking closed.
Yeah, exactly. And Cheryl's very charming. She is about what you would want out of that character, who is just like a small child who should probably not be doing this, but there you are. And she's very charming. And Marissa is great. Cardia is such a goddamn snake. What a ooh boy.
This bitch.
What a piece of work, as my father would say. And Marissa plays it really well. I think comparing her to Olivia is kind of that's a good point of reference, actually. That's probably the performance this reminds me of the most. And she's just very good at having her just be like really confident and kind of an evil, and just like she plays a really good villain you want to root against.
Yes.
Like you want them to be on screen because they are like charming and charismatic, but they're also the worst, so you want to see them lose. I think Marissa really brings that to the performance. She's not my favorite performance in the show. I'm not sure who I put as my favorite performance. I do think she just gives like a really good, strong performance. Like I think she really nails this character, and that pays off, especially during the more soapy, melodramatic aspects, which she plays a lot of, obviously. Yeah, these are good performances. I quite enjoyed them. Good stuff.
Yeah, I've always said my piece on Choco. Let's start with Yang Yang and Shirley. Shirley, I kind of enjoy her voice. It's not a voice I hear as often. I mean, she's a lot more stuff now, but she kind of has this sweet voice where that really displays her disposition, like when she's upset or angry or when she's ready to battle Rio. Because she's also I think I mentioned she was number 10 gate holder, right?
If not, you did now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, whatever. But Cheryl did a very good job, and I look forward to some of his latest. I look forward to seeing her more roles, especially the ones that were just either announced or recorded.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more on that someday. So, and Marissa as Katya. It's kind of funny because I remember a couple of times I had conversations with Marissa about this. Because one thing she mentions is that this is a type of character she gets typecast as, characters with huge tracts of land, I'd like to say.
God damn it. Speaking of Olivier.
Yeah, that's a character, for example, but she looks like a JoJo's character with DSL, so.
Oh, Lord. Can I just say, having watched, at the time of recording this, over the weekend, the latest Golden Wind episode. Jesus H. Christ. Oh, God. Body swap ho.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Ah, yes. And it's great.
Yeah, so anyway, the fact that she brought up to me that she was also Choco, I was like, God damn it. Because this is kind of a style for, I guess, her already impressive range or expanding range, because when I hear her as Katya, she kind of has the voice of melted chocolate, and I should know because I aspire to be that voice, so,
That's a comparison I didn't think I'd hear. It's also Jamal, so I should also be expecting it at this point.
Yeah, nobody expects me. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition either. But anyway. But yeah, yes. No. Yeah, but Marissa's got that deep kind of voice. Mm-hmm. Her natural voice, that is.
Yeah.
And I really want to hear more things. Well, I already am hearing more things. I just want to hear even more stuff, because...
I love all the stuff that Marissa's been doing lately, 100%.
I know there's one thing I should really be needed to be listened to, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So,
is this a thing we can't talk about right this second?
No, because we're not covering it.
Oh, which one?
Moe's in Borderlands 3.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I heard that one's fun too.
I own the goddamn copy, and I haven't gotten around to it for some reason. But anyway, everybody did very well in the roles, you know. Of the three, of course, Marissa was the standout.
Marissa and... Wait, hold on. Which Marissa?
Yes.
That is the only correct answer right now.
She put a lot of passion and efforts into those monosyllabic noises. Don't you forget that.
She did her best, and her best was amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, you ready to move on now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 characters left, and the next... from here on out, everybody else will be in pairs. We're starting with a couple of children. One essentially our... As Hardy had put it before, he said a secondary main character. And one of the quote-unquote former antagonists we meet is part of Katya's entourage. We have Mick Clark. And we have Jack Mighty. Now, Mick Clark, she's just a pretty bored out of her mind girl whose grandfather, Mr. Clark, is heavily invested in casinos. That man has like a casino addiction like no other. I'm not talking about it, but goddamn, Todd. She's pretty much adventurous and go out of her way to, I guess, have some fun, for lack of a better term, because she clings on to Rio very much. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this show, I thought Rio was in a time skip, sort of. If you look at if you look at them, they almost look the same, to be honest.
No, let's make the connection that that Mint wants Rio as her big sister by making her very, very similar looking to Rio. Let's do. That's basically what happens, essentially. Mm-hmm. Mint just adopts Rio as her older sister.
Yes, and she ends up interacting with a young boy she meets in the Sky Resort called Jack Mighty. Now, Jack Mighty, as I said, is part of Katya's entourage. He's ironically, the gate holder of the Jack card. They modeled the gates after playing cards for obvious reasons, people. But he possesses the power of telekinesis because, according to the lore here, he just... Yeah, quote-unquote lore.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This made my head hurt.
Yes, the part of the lore is that he and his family were, I guess, bomb diffusal experts. Mm-hmm. And they acquired telekinesis somehow.
Yep, for this line of work, because I think, as Jack puts it, just so they can stay safe when they defuse bombs or some horseshit.
I'd say that makes perfect sense, but this is real Rainbow Gate.
My brain hurted. Wow. My brain just hurt with that. And then when because Andrew did not watch that episode where Jack came in. And I told him that later and was like, oh yeah, he has telekinesis because bullshit. And Andrew's like, looks at me like, you know that face that he made when watching fucking Dragon Quest? Mm-hmm. He did that face. Looking at me like, what the fuck? I'm like, yup. Welcome to my life, Andrew. He's like, okay.
Anyway, just like the other gate holders before him, he charges Rio to a gate battle and loses. And I guess he becomes more relevant to the plot now, helping Rio to boost her confidence in his party entourage, to the point where he actually helps her cheat in one episode. It's amazing how a ghost found out a sidekick.
Look, nothing gets past misery. This bitch knows all.
Yeah, but playing these two, I'm gonna start with Mint. She's played by Amanda Julina or Julina, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And Jack Mighty, believe it or not, is voiced by Kira Buckland.
Gasp!
Gasp my ass.
God! I was being sarcastic.
I know, I was going to say, that was the fakest sounding gasp I ever heard.
I was being sarcastic, thank you very much.
My bad.
No, you're fine, it's fine.
Amanda, she doesn't have many voice roles to her name. As a matter of fact, this is her only anime role.
Really?
She's mainly known as an animator and artist, but she also has a couple of video game roles, such as Elaine in Regalia of Men and Monarchs, Lucy in Battle Right, and Colleen in Dust and Elysian Tale. Kira Buckland, you've also heard as Hydra Blood Lad, Dr. Lisa in Beat Neo, Hiyoko Sayoji, the Danganronpa franchise, Rest Blanket and Junior Chad, and going back to Gambling Connection, Mary Satome in Kakegurui.
Huh, okay. So, I have never heard Amanda before in my life, and now that you have said that this is her only anime role, it explains a lot. And as someone who's as the kids would call a casual video game player, Lord. So, Amanda, I think this one was probably the one that took the longest for me to get into. Admittedly, one, because I'd never heard this person before in my life, and that always, for me, that usually always plays a factor in trying to get to know the performance and the range. Two, in the beginning, the performance to me was a bit grating and obnoxious, admittedly. Because Mint is such a bratty child. She could be such a bratty child, it's not even funny. Like, she's just... Day one, she's going around the goddamn casino, to which, first of all, who let a fucking 10-year-old on the casino floor?
Her grandfather.
Her grandfather wasn't even there.
Well,
like, nobody
clearly
stopped her.
Poor parental supervision there, then, isn't it?
It's true, but none of the employees also stopped her. So, what the shit? But over time, and as the show progressed, I did get a bit more comfortable and adjusted to the performance, and Mint is a very, very precocious little girl. 100%. Like, oh, I forgot, looking at my notes, I forgot about something that Mint fucking said early on. That was a goddamn line. And this is my note exactly. Why is a child talking about a woman's childbearing hips?
Because she's being written by an adult man.
Just... I think this was episode 1, maybe? Episode 1, I think it was. Yeah, it's definitely episode 1, because I wrote something later. No, but it grew on me. She became such a sweet, precocious little girl. Mildly obnoxious at points, but she also will just root for you, like, all day long, and it's very, very cute and adorable. Kira Buckland as Jack. Kira makes Jack sound... What the heck am I writing? Makes him sound young, but with a touch of... With a little touch of, like, a somber tone. Especially early on when we're introduced to him. And... Because he's there because... Cartia took him in, and now he basically works for her, and he can't get out of it, and all this fun stuff. But as the show goes on as well, it becomes very evident that, one, apparently we magically forgot that Jack is supposed to stay with Cartia, I guess. He's not free, but he is. I don't know. Logic again. But, two, Jack becomes a bit more... open. Like, he holds his, for lack of better phrasing, in the beginning he holds his cards close to his chest, right? But as time goes on, especially with interactions with Mint, to which, side note, Mint and Jack are stupidly adorable together. The more time we see him and the more he spends with everybody, the heroes of the show, he kind of opens up a bit more. He is a bit more willing to help with whether it's information or being a supportive figure. Like Jamal said, he freaking went out of his way to help Rio cheat without Rio knowing, and then Misery called him out on his bullshit. And it's just very fun and adorable, and I don't get to hear Kira Buckland voice boy characters all that much. I'm usually used to her voicing female characters. And if I had no idea this was Kira Buckland, I probably wouldn't have known the difference. I probably would not have known that Jack was voiced by a female, honestly. It was the tone of voice was masked well enough that I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference if you asked me, and I didn't know it was Kira. But both these performances, given some time, were very enjoyable and so much fun. And like, my headcanon is Mint and Jack got to grow up together, and it was adorable and cute. And again, the special OVA episode where they're in freaking Linda's dream because they get caught up in this bullshit. And Jack has to be the hero and save Mint from King Kong Linda is the absolute fucking best. But no, both of these performances, given some time, were very enjoyable to me.
Alright. Amon.
Right. I'll start with Amanda, who I enjoyed. I've kind of gotten used to, often if I watch anime that has children in it, the children will often obviously sound like people who are not children pretending to be children to varying degrees of good. And I think Amanda actually does a pretty good job, Mint, certain dialogue aside. Sounds
childbearing hips.
Does sound convincingly like a small child who would be running around a casino, having a nice time for the most part. I think she's just very cute and charming. I like her performance. She's very bubbly when she needs to, and she's just she's a nice little fun spark whenever she's around. That's good to like Amanda hasn't done too much in either. Obviously, this is her only anime role. She hasn't been in too many video games. I wouldn't mind seeing that changing. She seems like she's got a lot of like passion and spark, I guess. Like, she's fun. I would not mind hearing her in something else if her career leads her back that way. Here, at least, I think she's fun. She definitely nails the character. And nothing else, like her and Jack's sort of ongoing friendship is just very charming. They're very cute together. Jack, my favorite part about Jack. So as we mentioned, this is based on pachinko games made by a company called Tecmo. And
Pachinko games, a series of games, yeah.
Yes, and Jack's whole point is that he is a wholesale reference to a game they put out on the NES in the 80s called Mighty Bomb Jack.
Are you kidding me?
If you go to the Mighty Bomb Jack Wikipedia page, you'll see the box art cover, and you will note that's Jack's superhero costume.
Oh,
with the horns and everything.
Because they made a point in the show that Jack can't do a lot of shit without wearing. Oh my fucking god!
Yep. And I know that because Jeremy Parrish did a video on it like 2 years ago that I saw 6 months ago. Thanks, Jeremy.
Oh, fuck.
Go watch NES Works. It's good for you. But Kira, I think, I enjoy her performances. Jack a lot. I think she does a good job of making him, it's a good little kid voice. I think she does a good job of portraying him first as kind of like sort of nefarious and villainous, and then after he gets his ass handed to him, he kind of warms up to people, and he's like, no, I want to help you. I'm going to help you. Gonna help you take back the ship. Gonna help you. Gonna reprogram this hacking program as a video game.
Oh my god.
Which I'm pretty sure is another Tecmo game that I don't recognize, but it's definitely something.
It is. It's called Star Force.
There we go. Yeah. So
he's literally playing Star Force.
It's one Tecmo video game character playing another Tecmo video game. Insert Inception noise here.
Womp.
Exactly.
I
think Kira's just a lot of fun. She plays off Amanda really well, as I said. They're just a lot of fun together, and I just enjoy that, like, on top of all the other weird stuff, it's like, yeah, there's just a 10-year-old superhero running around. He disposes of bombs. He has a costume. He can fly. Alright.
Sure.
Why not? Not the weirdest thing I've seen in this show. Yeah. Yeah, there's just two like just nice, charming kid performances. I liked them. They were fun when they were on screen. It was a nice time.
So yeah, starting with Amanda. Like, Steph, I never really heard of her before either. Like, and the fact that this is her only anime role is kind of impressive, because it's kind of like, Amon, you remember Kitu and Bobby from Fooly Cooly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like one of those situations where the voice does very well, the character is kind of awkward at times, but you want to hear more from this person, you know? But they don't really do a whole lot.
Mm.
And that's the kind of feeling that I get from Amanda. Even though Mint is definitely bratty, I'm still trying to get over the fact her name is Mint. There is a mink in the casino named Chip. And all I could think about is ice cream, so. But anyway.
Jesus Christ. You're not wrong. And I fucking hate you now.
I hate me too, Steph. Don't worry. But yeah, for what it's worth, yeah, Mint is kind of this. What secondary, maybe tertiary main character. Yeah, the secondary we'll get to later. But she did very well for what she was given. Now, Kira Buckland, on the other hand, this was kind of a surprise to me when I first watched it, because I legitimately cannot recall any other time that Kira Buckland has ever voiced a boy, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
And going on the one end of the spectrum, it sounds like early Erica Mendez, to be honest. I guess maybe before or after we were familiar with her, when she plays little boys. Something closer to God, I think. But it was very unique. It was very adorable. And I like the moments where Jack kind of gets flustered around Mint, especially during some scenarios, because and Mick kind of calls him out on that. So, but you know, that's love for you. It's just. But yeah, back to what you were also saying, Steph, about that kind of logic with he has to stick with Kanye. Where he said it himself when he lost that he's useless to Kanye now. So that's when he decided to start helping out the others, you know?
I know that, but at the same time, like, Jack's freedom was also on the line during that game.
Yeah.
And yet he lost. And it's like, you have a freaking 180. It's like, I'm useless now. Fuck everything. It's like, what?
Which is funny because he lost of his own volition when I think he almost got sucked into the black hole. Rio saved him, and then Mint almost got sucked into a black hole and saved her too. And Rio just finished the game because Jack knows deep down that he's a really good guy. And Kira definitely portrayed that. And these two did a very good job. And I think we're reaching the end of this battle here. We have two characters left, our main characters. Yes, luck be a lady tonight. It is a lady tonight, actually. Two ladies. We have Rita Goldschmidt and Rhea Rollins. Now, the interesting thing about these two, they also possess role rulers. Rita's ability is that of bad luck, basically to negate any energy surrounding her, making the customer feel weary, while Rio has the good luck energy, making the customers feel positive. The whole thing with these two is that they started off as childhood friends, and that Rita is helping Rio out with the casino work, and you find out she's hired on as a new dealer. Over the series of battles that Kanye has instigated, you find out deep down inside she's not only working for Kanye, but all the others in Kanye's entourage, all the others who possess gates, those were actually her gates. What makes things even more interesting is that she's also Rio's half-sister. Dun dun dun.
What a twist!
Yes, to which Rio Wallace Tachibana, she is a very sane disposition, is willing to help others out. out of the goodness of her own heart, never really had to battle for herself until these gate battles had started. The fact that she has to now battle her own half-sister, outrage fueled by a lie, if you can believe it, from Cardia. At one point, Rita manages to win over Rio's gates before Rio decides to get back into the battle, acquiring a couple gate cards for both Dana and Yang. She admittedly lost her confidence, but manages to build it back up in time for the final gate battle.
Rio didn't get the card from Yang.
Yeah, number 10.
Yeah.
No. She lost all those cards after fighting Yang.
No.
What? I thought she only had Risa's and frickin' Dana's.
No. She got Risa's and Dana's after she lost her hands. She got Risa and Dana's after she lost her previous hands of cards that she won the other gate battle.
Oh, okay. I'm remembering things wrong because Cartia didn't want to bring Rina involved. That's what it was. I forgot.
Yeah. Alright, so anyway, after she loses her cards, she manages to regain the self-confidence through the various network supported friends she has. And the friends she made along the way because, with the power of friendship can overcome anything. As that one guy in that one episode said.
The heart of the cards, Yugi. The heart of the cards.
Yeah, the heart of the cards, to the point that once she manages to recover with the help of Dana, Yang, and Risa, who was at Joker at the time, she manages to defeat Rina in the gate battle and open the Rainbow Gate. To which, when you open the Rainbow Gate, you're granted one wish. It was never said vocally, but it was definitely implied that, a wealth of good luck throughout the world was spread. And then, of course, you see the Rainbow Six Siege busted to come and take over, to which you find out that there are insurgents in the International Casino Dealers Guild who wants to use that power for evil.
I want to see my rainbow. Oh God!
You want to see that rainbow? You want to see that rainbow card? Yeah, bitch, eat a bag of Skittles.
No. Cardia, eat a Twix bar. You're not you when you're hungry.
Oh boy.
Wait. That was a Snickers, not Twix.
Ah, shit. I fucked up the reference. Damn it. You know what I mean.
Oh my god. So anyway, once Rio achieves good luck, everything gets back to normal and the two sisters reconcile. And playing these two is interesting because it's our ADR directors. Playing Rita Tachibana is Brittany Lauder. And playing Rhea Rollins Tachibana is Emily Carders. Brittany Lauder, you've also heard as Ichigo and Darling in the Franks. Yusuri heard Dr. Stone. Plug Cryostat Juden Chan, Yahiko in the Morose Mononokean franchise, and Mai in Nichijou. Emily Carders, you've also heard as Brandish Mute Fairy Tale. Marie Adler in Infinite Dendrogram. Post-Trans in Juden Chan, Satoru Hozuki in Kono Ototomare. And again, tying to the gambling theme, Baccarat in One Piece Film Gold.
Okay. I'm assuming I'm first, and I'm going to start with Brittany Lauder by saying this. I don't get to see Brittany play a lot of villain-type roles in anime, usually. I want to see Brittany play more villain-type roles in anime. Because, first of all, Rina, I think, is one of the more mature-sounding characters in Brittany's repertoire, because a lot of the roles that I know her for mostly are younger, at least teenagers and younger. And then there's Yahiko from Morose Mononokean, who is a gremlin child. A gremlin fox child, I should say. But no, this is probably one of the more mature characters that Brittany gets to play. So it's a little bit of her lower register. And it's very different than what I'm used to. And I think it actually works very well and lends very well to Rina's character, who is supportive and very sweet. But she also is a little bit of has a no-nonsense attitude to her as well. And it will also call bullshit on occasions. Like, she's very, very supportive to Rio. At least this is long before we find out Rina's actual intentions. And I really enjoyed it and it worked very well. I think the stronger parts of the performance for Brittany is in the latter half of the show once we actually learn Rina's intentions. Because all of a sudden, Rina has a bit more complexity because she wants her revenge. Because she wants to get back at Rio and Rio's mom, Risa, for everything that she's been put through in her life. But then it even goes a little bit deeper. And it's like, I have my revenge. But I know this is all Carty is doing. I know she actually lied to me about shit. But if I let that go, I'm gonna lose that deep vengeance, that sense of self in a way. It's one of those weird tropes that it's like, I know they're lying, but if I stop believing in it, what does that mean for me? Oh, this has all been for nothing. It's one of those tropes. And Brittany portrays those layers very, very well. And I really, really loved it. Again, I would love to see Brittany do more villain roles. I would love that. 100%. Let's go. Excuse me. As for Amberly Connors, Rio is very chill and very kind. And Rio is probably one of the most chill characters that I've ever seen Amber play. And I have watched Konoha Tamare and Silver Guardian. To which, Silver Guardian. This is probably one of the more chill, more relaxed, more kind-hearted characters that Amber has gotten to play. And I think her voice and her performance lends very well to the character. And again, similar to Rina, Rio also has to go through her complex moments too, where her confidence is built up, she's brought down to like rock bottom, and then she has to try and build herself back up again. General trope going on here. I will also say, and Rio is also very, very, despite the amount of cleavage and skin that she will show, Rio is very innocent, actually. Because she just gets very, very flustered at the outfits that she's basically forced to wear because of Tom Howard and his perverted mindset, and some of the schemes that she's put through, especially when, for lack of better phrasing, it turns into fucking strip poker, essentially, and she starts losing pieces of clothing. Like, that shootout game thing that she played in Rina against Rina very early on. Like, she was, like, so embarrassed, because, like, there goes the buttons on the front of her shirt, there goes the buttons on her skirt's falling down, like, she's just like, no! She's very, very innocent, even though she's just this kind of skimpily, but she knows it's also for the job, unfortunately. And by God, can we give this girl a vacation, please? This woman is overworked, and I would probably assume very underpaid. Let's give this bitch a raise and a vacation, please. Like, she deserves it after all the shit she goes through. No, but in general, I really did enjoy the performance Amber gave. It was much more chill compared to some of the other characters and roles that I've heard her play before. But yeah, like, this is a fun combination of two leading ladies for this show, and I really do like this combination and dynamic. So I would love to see more of it.
Okay, Amon.
I'm in strong agreement. I think these two give some really strong performances. I especially feel like they play off each other really well. You can really tell just the sense of camaraderie between the two of them, even before it turns out that they're actually related to each other. It's just a really, like, you can sense their, like, tight bond even when they're, like, you know, in competition with each other. Whether in the beginning when it's more playful or towards the end when it's more serious. It's just a lot of fun. Like, Brittany does a really good job of making Rena seem, very tough and assertive. Very much the one who's, like, not going to take nearly as much crap. The one who's going to tell Howard to his face, like, you're being gross, stop it. And I think Amber does a good job of having Rena be the one who's, like, a little more going to go with the flow because this is her job and it's what she gets paid to do. And having a little more of sort of a wide-eyedness about her. Like, she's not, like, naive, per se, but there's a sort of, this... she's a little more gung-ho, she's a little more spiritly. And especially between the two of them, I think they contrast each other really well. Like, I think, especially towards the end, I feel like their relationship is kind of the linchpin that the plot of the show kind of revolves around to a certain extent, and I think they both give really strong performances that, as silly as the show is, and as much as it's not really about, like, the actual plot going on, I think they help sell that in a way where, like, even if you're not taking it seriously, per se, you buy it. You buy what's going on, you buy this relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think even in a show as silly as this, that's something important to do, because, like, the show does take that seriously enough. And I think you can see in this dub that the dub also takes that seriously enough. Just like a nice, strong performance. I agree. I'd like to hear more of this combination of the two of them. I think they play off each other really well. Yeah, just good. I liked it a lot.
Alright, so I'm going to start with Brittany. Yeah, Brittany was very impressive in this role because, well, for one, you got the sweet, good-natured side of her, then you got the feisty, angry side, and she manages to battle the two aspects of Rita very well. And so pretty much, yeah, I would like to see Brittany more villain roles because, yeah, this is kind of impressive. Like, you only see her as a boss character very much lately, but when she gets right into it, it works because she kind of displays the naivete in contrast to Rio's aloofness. To which Rio, it's very interesting because Emily Condis I've either always pegged as either the girl next door or the girl of yanderish tendencies, depending on what show you're watching. Sometimes, like. But yeah, Rio has this aloofness to her. I guess that's because of her, not her mastery, but her ability with her role ruler. Because her role ruler, she stays married to the game, like literally. I mean, seriously, in one episode, she's in a wedding dress, battling Jason Marnocha in a card game.
Oh yeah, that was like episode 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh lordy.
But the fact that she's such a caring character, and she kind of has to play Cheesecake sometimes, especially to her piggish boss, Tom Howard. To which, what the hell, Tom? The money's supposed to go to the MVCD. Why do you need your bank account?
Cause this is for my resort. I want all the money. I deserve it.
You rich, biatch.
Shit! I did not expect that. Oh Jesus!
I did it. That was like last second. But yeah, Rio Abba manages to play up the aspects of Rio very well. Even though like this was only just a start for her, it definitely led to something beautiful later on down the road. These two have actually grown as actors, I guess, because of this show. Because a lot of what this show is it's popcorn, it's cheesecake. I mean, hey, it's cheesecake when you cheesecake. What can I say? But these performances were very strong and at the center of it all. Like, because for the comedic moments it has, it definitely developed some serious moments at the back half of it. And I think as we lead into final thoughts, that's pretty much kind of sums up everything. So, Steph, what are your final thoughts?
My brain hurting aside. So this is a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
My brain hurting aside from the show's logic aside, because Lord Almighty, I was dying while watching it because it hurt my brain so much. It is silly, fun, popcorn material kind of show. It is your Cheesecake, maybe some ham in there. I don't know. It's the good stuff. That being said, the dub is not perfect. It is not perfect by any stretch of means. It is not fantastic, but it is also not a flaming hot pile of garbage. Again, since this is a dub that is fairly early on in the repertoire of both Sound Cadence and Kocha Sound, there were a few small issues, mostly on the technical and possibly the logistical side of it, when developing it. However, outside of that, the performances range from nice, chill, fun characters to, oh my god, there is ham all over the place. And it just steals everything and runs with it. It's the show, they went into the production of this knowing what the show is, what it calls for, and they had fun with it. That is the key part with this dub. It is a fun dub. Again, not exceptional, not perfect. There are some rough patches, but they know that it's fun. They know what it is. They had a ball, and it shows. So yeah, if you want to spend an afternoon or so watching some whack-ass fucking gambling and weird random Yu-Gi-Oh bullshit, like, go ahead and watch Rainbow Gate. It's silly, it's fun. I am happy I finally watched this after years of Jamal telling me I should. But and the dub is a fun dub. It is a fun dub, and it paved the way for even better dubs for both Sound Cadence and Kocha Sound. So,
okay, Amon.
Like I said earlier, this show has no business being any good, really, just given what it is and how it kind of came about. Like, this feels like it should be a lazy cash-in. Instead, it's a lot of fun. It seems very aware of what it is. It does not try to front or fool you. It does not try to claim to be anything deeper than it is. It knows what it is. It's a lot of silly, fan-servicey hijinks. And it ends up being pretty entertaining as a consequence, and I think this dub really matches that very well. It's not going for high art, but it is going for just, like, a good fun time. You get fun jokes, you get some well-placed melodrama, you get some weirdness, and I think you get a lot of good, solid performances that really match the characters, therefore. And just help kind of, like, it just makes it a good, fun show. Like, this is not something I necessarily recommend to everybody, but I feel like, you know, if I feel like, oh, they would definitely enjoy Rainbow Gate, I'd happily recommend the dub to them. Like, this is a really fun way to watch it. And I'm glad I agreed to do this episode, because I don't think I would have gotten around to the show if I hadn't. But yeah, like, this is a fun time. I recommend it.
So, like I said, when I first got interested in the show, it was kind of an acid trip. And, you know, that's the thing with us reviewing stuff sometimes. It's like, you know, we pick what we like, we pick what interests us, but sometimes, every once in a while, you just gotta branch out into the unknown, because you never know what you're gonna like unless you watch it, you know. I mean, there could be some good performances in the bad show, there could be bad performances in the good show, there could be good performances in the good show. You never know unless you try. So once I started getting into Media Blaster stuff, which I'm gonna be honest, half the time I kept thinking this was just Sound Cadence, I really enjoyed what I like, and it made me aware of both studios, and it also had me, like, just buying these Blu-rays that I wouldn't normally buy if they were streaming, to which, like, and I know Mike Toole said it about some other dubs, but I would like to see this kind of stuff streaming once in a while, but, you know, that's up to circumstance. What I will say about the dub, however, is that while yeah, they polish it the best they can, you know, a lot of people either recognize or don't recognize did cut their teeth, and they did have a lot of fun with it, because that's the one thing about performing. Like, you can have serious performances and serious stuff, but every once in a while, actors have to cut loose, you know? Otherwise, dubbing becomes kind of a chore, and they can't have as much fun as they would have if they did cut loose every once in a while. So, something like Real Rainbow Gate is very fun, very enjoyable, and definitely worth your time. It's also very cheap if you know where to look too. But you know, the show is not for everybody. If I am gonna recommend it to somebody, it's somebody that's like willing to give it a look without a second thought, you know, or somebody that really enjoys comedy.
Yeah, it has some fun laughs in there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that having been said, if you want to see the show for yourself, it's available on Crunchyroll, on Verve, Toku TV, and Amazon Video, but they're all sub only right now. If you want to see the dub, however, it is available on Blu-ray from Right Stuff or wherever you purchase your anime. Just a side note, it comes separate in either Blu-ray or DVD, and if you're gonna look it up, it's under the title Real Rainbow Gate Reshuffle.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's an additional part of the title to it.
Yeah. Don't know why, that's just Media Blasters.
Mm-hmm.
But that having been said, if you want to see us, the shenanigans we get up to, we're available on YouTube at Dub Talk Podcast. On Twitch, Tumblr, Instagram. Tumblr's already reshuffled enough, you know, it's time to cash out.
Yeah, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's another way, too, you can hear us.
Yes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Podbean!
Podbean, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, also, if you want to give your support to the podcast, we're also available on Ko-Fi as well as Patreon, to which I want to thank our patrons in the $5 tier: Crimson Kingdom, Michelle Travis, Miraculous Corazon, Nico Robin, but with Yowie Heads, and Victor Maybarona. In our $10 tier, we have Anthony Simpson, B. Morris, Kyle Estical, Jacob Wilson, J2 aka Jared, Julia W, it's a lot of J's, and of course Marissa Letty. Thank you all very much. You're all wonderful people for supporting this podcast.
We love you.
As for any of us, what we get up to, ladies and gentlemen, plug yourselves.
Ladies first, I guess. I've been going first this whole time. My name is Stephanie. I am also sometimes known as Lilac. You can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled REVUE. I also have a blog, lifeandtimesotaku.wordpress.com, that I update on occasion, and I am currently working on a thing involving my anime children, because I made a poll on Twitter and people want to see it. So, yeah, that's a thing.
I'm going to leave you for last for obvious reasons.
All right.
We all know.
Yeah, we all know. If you want to hear me, I can be found on Twitter at Japstar529. I can be found on YouTube at Japstar1. It can be found. I have a blog that's collected dust. I'm an assistant editor for the podcast. I'm also trying to get into solo podcasts regarding a favorite anime topic of mine, but we'll see if that comes to fruition. And Amon, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at AmonDuelUS. Duel has 2 U's in it. I talk about movies and comic books and stuff like that, and I also talk about music. And consequently, I have a dusty old song for this episode. Would you like to hear it?
Absolutely.
Lay it on us, Amon.
Well, speaking of pretentious bullshit Amon likes...
Great way to start that sentence.
This show is about games and gambling. You know what else is about games and gambling? Why, the album and song The Turn of a Friendly Card by the Alan Parsons Project. Because when I think of gambling, I think of the band led by the guy who engineered Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That's a good album. I highly recommend the title track, which is a 5-part, 16-minute suite about the games people play and that kind of thing. The song The Games People Play is also about the games people play, so, you know, that's a good shot, too, if you only have 4 minutes to spare. If that's a little too artsy-fartsy for you, may I suggest Viva Las Vegas by Elvis? Which is also a good song, and it's only about 3 minutes, so, you know.
Nice.
It'll be over faster.
Good to know.
Can I make a stupid joke to follow this up?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
I have a dusty old song recommendation, but it's more for the fucking meme. Go listen to September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It is September 21st.
It is September 21st when we record this.
Oh yeah, side note. Happy birthday, Marissa Letty.
Is it her birthday today?
No, it was a couple days ago. I forgot.
Oh.
Oh.
happy belated birthday, Marissa.
Yeah, so before we head out, any final words, or that's it?
No final words except for the fact that why the fuck is there a loud ass truck outside? This is the second fucking time. I'm sorry.
New Jersey.
Like, I swear to God, it's probably one of my neighbors who has to compensate for shit by getting a big ass truck with a fucking roaring engine or some horse shit, and it's bugging the fuck out of me. It's legit. It's getting picked up on my audio, and I fucking hate it.
I am so glad I left there long ago. Anyway, for all of us here at Dub Talk, good night. Otaku on. Keep on rolling. The dying status.
Rock on Boston, rock on Chicago.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.